and your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why? $22 million in 3 fucking hours! There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not. Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's right.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. And it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
Let's go, baby. Thursday. It's time. Robinhood's picking up. We got a good day today. How we doing, boys? How we doing? We might have some live pack openings today here in about 15 minutes. With Upshot, we got PO coming on. I know we've all been wanting to hear about PO. Erase all the pain till it's gone. Let's go, bro. I'm Cody, bro. It's just me. Dude, if that doesn't get you hyped up, I don't know what will. How are we doing? My Robinhood guys are feeling good today. We're going to talk about it. Wow, it's a good day. It's a good Thursday. Markets feel like they're kind of back. War may or may not be off. I don't know, man. Let's see what Trump has to say about it, and we'll get this thing kicked off with that. Let me know if you can hear the volume. It's just me today. Your boy's holding it down. It's all good. I can be entertaining. Let's do it. All right. Here, do I want to do that? Do I like this right here? Kind of like this. What do we think here? Pull myself up a little bit. Yeah, I can get down with that. Do we like the other side? I kind of like the other side too. Yeah, let's do that. All right. All right, boys, here we go. Here we go. Let's see what Trump has to say. Is the war on? Is the war off? Nobody knows. Erase all the pain till it's gone. That's how I'm feeling right now. But you know what? The markets are looking pretty good. We're going to go through some charts here. Y'all have been using the Easy A intro for your outro. Y'all have it? Oh, we haven't been? I'll have to set that up, dude. that gets into technicalities, and I got to go do it. I'll do it. I know you like the Easy A video. I'll use it for our outro. I'll make a note to the engineers to get it right. Okay. All right. Let's see what Trump has to say about this war situation, because the markets are whipsawing up and down. We got to figure out what's going on. Trump says, Rand called a little while ago, and they want to make a peace deal. Okay, because earlier he said, I think verbatim, he said, they're rats. They're rats. They don't want to make a deal. It's off. Iran comes out, says, just like you lost the World Cup, this is an L for you guys. Okay, here's what Donald Trump has to say. And let's see. Let's see how this sounds.
We have many ways we can win, but we've already won militarily. They have very little left, and they want to make a deal so badly. They called a little while ago. They want to make a deal so badly. I just don't know if they're worthy of making a deal. I don't know that they're going to honor the deal. That's the problem.
If they want to make a deal, why do you think they attacked commercial vessels?
Because it's sort of crazy, to be honest with you. It's sort of crazy. They're a little bit out of control, but they want to make a deal. Badly.
They want to make a deal badly. Okay. We'll take your word for it, bro. I just got word from the Upshot team that they'll be allocating some packs, and we can send them to the audience however we please. So if you guys are going to be here for the Upshot call here in 15 minutes, and you want some packs, I'm going to need you to be commenting right now. Obviously, Crypto Jones, I'm not sure if you're a Pokemon guy. If you are, I got you a pack. Courtesy of Upshot. How's Josh doing after his gender reassignment surgery? Yeah, he's milking it. I think tomorrow he'll be back, tits and all, so you'll be able to see him. But Josh is doing good, man. He had a long road trip. He drove 22 hours straight from somewhere in Canada to or somewhere, I don't know, somewhere to somewhere back in Canada, but he drove 23 hours straight, so he's pretty pooped. Pretty pooped right now. Nonetheless, let's check out the market, boys. I got some stuff to talk through, but we have a bit of a gap. We had USDAI, better known as CHIP, on at 115 today, but they dropped out. They canceled. They're moving to next week. So we're still going to have that, but it's just going to be next week, which is going to be a great episode. So I'll have like 45 minutes to just riff with you guys in the middle of the stream, and then I got to bounce right after because your boy's hitting the links. Going to practice the swing today. Okay. We got Pokemon for you, Crypto Jones. Star Central if you want Pokemon. Maybe we'll get you some too, depending on how many packs they got for us. But let's check on the markets here because we're up and down all around. Not really sure what's going on. I'm going to move this now back over here. Make it smaller. Huh. I will do this. Okay. So here's what the markets are looking like. I got Bitcoin pulled up. We're going to do a quick little macro. We're going to talk through some stuff too. I definitely want to talk through Robinhood specifically and how we should position on, because I see a lot of people coming out on the timeline talking about, Robinhood, they're just here for the short term. They're tourists. They don't know how to fix the trenches. And like, look, I don't disagree with it, but if you saw my video yesterday, I posted on my main account. I don't think that's all true. Robinhood is the leading retail financial app in the world, and they've done a great job onboarding normies and making things very user-friendly. I think they're going to be able to onboard degenerates and cater to this retail audience. I have a hunch, and I feel like it's pretty obvious. We'll get into it in a second. But with that said, let's do macro, boys, and we'll have our Pokemon guys coming up, and then we'll do housekeeping in a second as well. Looking at Bitcoin, of course, yesterday we got like wars back on fears, or was that 2 days ago? I don't know. At some point in the last 2 days, we got wars back on fears. Today we got wars off, news. So we don't really know what's going on. We're kind of sitting in this range. I think Bitcoin looks really, really good from a monthly perspective, weekly perspective. Yeah, we're in this zone that I think starts to matter. So I like how we're starting to compress. Again, we saw compression back here, which led to nothing. Of course, this was a important zone to look out for. Ultimately just redistributed and turned over. Same thing happened here. But now we're again back in this lower ranges, and if you look at these legs, they're starting to get exhausted. Okay, so exhaustion is starting to kick in for Bitcoin. So we saw from the top back here in October 2025. Look at the leg down. Right, look at how big and violent this leg is to the downside. Right, lots of sellers clearly in control, very fast. The next leg is also big and violent, maybe lesser so than the first. Let's do the numbers from top to bottom of the first one. wick to wick, we got 36% drop. For the second one, we got 38%. So it was actually bigger the second time. Notice though, this third time here, the effect, right? Much less of an effect than we saw these previous two times, which tells us two things. Sellers are really getting exhausted here, or at least more so exhausted than they were in the previous legs down. So again, looking pretty good. On the daily, we're kind of just in this range, sitting in this range here. Again, I think it's a great DCA, but we're not going to harp on Bitcoin too much because we've talked about it so many times. But Bitcoin's in a great spot. I think Solana looks really great. And we saw Solana apps take a bit of a dip over the week. July will close green, but we're heading lower after that, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't think we go much lower. I think we're DCAing. So Solana's looking pretty good. I think, again, one of the strongest in terms of the majors. But let's look at Solana Eco. Actually, before we do that, let's take a look at Hyperliquid, or not Hyperliquid, Lighter. Lighter's looking fantastic, man. Shout out Rambo, who's on the stream not long ago, giving us the Hyper bull case. Man, this looks fantastic. This chart is insane. Of course, integrated with Robinhood. You can say what you want about it, but it looks very strong. I think there could be a lot of retail flow to this and usage from this partnership. So Lighter looks really, really great. We'll see how this materializes as like Robinhood really develops their chain and rolls out more features and stuff, but Lighter looks solid. Lighter looks really solid. Let me slap on some lipstick here. Not chapstick. So Lighter looks solid. Yeah, good spot to start DCA. Agreed. Lighter looks really solid here. Backpack in a bit of a range, right? We're ranging a bit for Backpack. So I would say it's an interesting spot. Kind of looks like we're going to come and maybe roll over a little bit as momentum started to die off. The initial hype cycle is done, but we are still getting listings. I mean, Backpack's been listing back to back things. So again, I still expect this revenue to continue to grow. So maybe Backpack rolls over. I'd say if you get down in that zone, we're buying Backpack. Again, self-reported 2025, $100 million in revenue. And now they got all the equities volume basically coming to them on Solana. So really good for Backpack, looking good. Jupiter took a dip. Now, Jupiter's an interesting one. I got to pull up some tweets I had on this if I can find them real quick. Because Jupiter's doing this gum thing, right? They're trying to really get this perps volume back. And I'll even, I guess, quickly look at this before even jumping into the gum. But look at the stock perp volume on Hyperliquid. It's crazy. $40 billion in volume, which is 1,000% year-to-date growth, right? This is, I mean, stock perps volume on Hyperliquid. This is not crypto. And they've grown it to $40 billion in volume, which is incredible. So people have an appetite for trading stocks on crypto rails. With that said, Jupiter once led the perps market. I'm not sure if you guys know that, but Jupiter once was the leader. Before Hyperliquid really took over, it was Jupiter. So with that said, let's look at this gum chain, okay, which is like Jupiter's way of trying to claw back some of this market here for the perps market, okay? Since 4 days ago, just 4 days since gum went live on private beta, already did 5 million in perps volume. Again, that's that's pretty low for Jupiter in 4 days, but again, it's private beta. It's up to 12x cheaper than Jupiter perps. Order book based, isolated margins, 4 pairs at launch with more coming. Jupiter dominated Solana perps before competition caught up. This brings them back. More volume equals more revenue equals more Jupe buybacks. I mean, no Jupe has been doing buybacks for a while now. Okay, so let's pull up the Jupe chart. So with that being said, Jupiter used to be the dominant player in the perps market. Okay, they no longer are. Hyperliquid took that. Well, now they're doing this gum situation. I'm not sure if it's their own chain, but it seems like they can meaningfully take a stab at taking back some of this perps volume, which again leads to direct volume and buybacks for Jupiter, which they've been doing buybacks now for a long time. So this one starts to get really interesting. Again, Jupiter is not only a play on this perps trade, but also a play on general volume picking up. As general volume picks up on Solana, Jupiter is the clear place that all the volume is going to flow through, right? So not only do you have like the volume coming back to Solana and the trenches and crypto in general to look forward to, you do have this gum and perps play that Jupiter is kind of leaning into. So I'd watch out for it. Let me pull up CMC real quick to see what the market cap of Jupiter is today. because you could convince me that this is a good trade. You could easily convince me that this is a good trade. And I searched up JUM. What am I doing? Jupe. Here we go. Okay, let's see. And again, Solana Eco in general is on a bit of a pullback, but it's been running really, really hot. Okay, so Jupiter is trading at a $681 million market cap. 1.4 billion FTV. I almost want to pull up Blockworks and see some of their revenues and numbers because I know they have a lot of buybacks. So yeah, $681 million market cap. And that's the number I would focus on rather than this $1.4 billion FTV because they have passed a vote to make this non-inflationary for the time being. So this FTV is set to be released at an indefinite date. We're not sure. So let's see, $681 million market cap for Jupiter. Let me pull up Blockworks here and see if we can get some numbers on Jupiter. Buyback numbers. So 681 million. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, which is where they have their buybacks. Okay, Jupe's doing $60 million annualized revenue. And they're doing 35 million annualized buybacks. Revenue is slowly upticking, right? It's not significant, but you can see the trend is happening in the right direction. Let's see what this is from. Aggregations, 113,000, $94,000 a day from perps. Really didn't expect them to be doing that much, but that's pretty impressive. So this gum, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that if the gum is a serious upgrade here, this 94 could jump very quickly to, you know, surpassing their aggregator revenue. But this is something to watch out for. So $35 million in buybacks. We're going to want to look at that number if we're doing a price to earnings multiple. Of course, this is a trade you take for growth, right? It's generally betting on volumes coming back to Solana. And then, of course, this perps market being good. I think even more so the volumes coming back to Solana because Jupiter is the main leading aggregator. So $35.8 million in buybacks versus a $680 million market cap. Not the best. Not the best. Not going to really crunch the math on that right now, but not terrible. I'd say if it keeps dipping down, we're starting to get an interesting territory. I mean, let's see. If we go back to range lows, another 30%. Yeah, I think we get an interesting territory, especially if volumes are upticking and this gum rolls out well. So Jupiter is looking interesting there. It's a bit of a Jupe thesis. JTO had quite the dip. We know Ants has been shilling this. This is still in line with the perps narrative we've seen pick up a lot. JTO, of course, I think is going to be the leading, JTX, I should say, is going to be the leading perps platform or venue on Solana, most likely. And again, it's more of a front end than anything, but this is in progress. It's set to release pretty soon. 80% of those buybacks are going to the token. So this becomes interesting. I don't think at these levels, I think it's a bit overvalued here and, you know, more of a sell the news situation until they start producing meaningful revenue. But, you know, once you get back into this 45, 46 territory, 0.46 territory, it gets interesting from a speculative level. Multiples are still not great here, but speculative wise, 0.45 is a pretty good entry. And again, I'm going to go back to CMC here and take a look at the market cap of JTX. Okay. Or Jupiter. Or not Jupiter. JTO. Jeez. JTO. Okay. So yeah, this is $316 million market cap. 630 FDV. Again, we want to target this coming a good bit lower. I would say like relatively dipping back kind of below this area. So this would bring us, yeah, another 30 to 40% lower is more of the strike price I'd be looking at. So this would really become very enticing here, I think, if we do get 30 to 40% lower, closer to the $200 million market cap zone. So there's Jupiter. Keeping eyes on it. Did not mean to switch over to Dex Screener. Aerodrome, wanting to look into XPL. Have not been keeping up with it. Grass obviously is looking absolutely horrid. We talked about grass on the show. I've been a grass bull. Okay, I've been a grass bull. Now, I notably, prior to the token holder call, mentioned that this could be a sell the news event because everyone's kind of hoping that they do the best. Like the best seem to have been priced in terms of revenue, hitting that like 70 to 100 million annualized mark. in terms of, holders being paid out or nodes being paid out well, in terms of like more clarity around the token structure. We really got none of that. They pretty much missed on earnings. They under-delivered on expectations. And so this is taking a violent dip. And then, by the way, nodes got paid out nothing. So it's like someone expecting now that the nodes are just going to leave the platform, and that would make this DPIN network completely void and null. So I am not interested in grass anymore for the time being. It was a nice cook while it lasted, but that token holder call was just as bad as it could go. So as bad as it could go. Guys, we got Upshot in the waiting room. Gonna pin to them in a second here. Just gonna go through one or two more things. Of course, WorldCoin. Josh really likes this one. Again, I don't see Sam Altman really embracing it anytime soon, so it's not quite a trade for me. But that's the thesis here. If we think Sam Altman's gonna, meaningfully integrate this and build it out, it's kind of like the Sam Altman beta. Ton is rebranding to Graham. I know people are paying attention to this and they like this. I would say this is more interesting. This is more interesting to me because if they do take this by the balls and really run with it, Ton could turn into something nice. But again, needs more development really early on to say it's just something you want to keep on the watch list. So that's what I'm gonna stop there for the macro. And I'm gonna jump over here to a bit of housekeeping. Okay, bit of housekeeping. Give you the run of show today. We got Upshot in the waiting room. My Pokemon guys, this is a big conversation I want to have, this Pokemon conversation, because we saw TCG recently in terms of volume has topped for the last week or two. And kind of coincides with volume coming back to the trenches. Just going to have this conversation in general. GM Fumbler, how we doing? GM, hey, what's going on? All right, not going to pull up that comment. Solana liquidity being vamped by Robinhood. Yeah, short term, but I talked about this when I talked about the Robinhood thesis. Like, again, this is the greatest and largest retail financial app in the world. Okay, if Robinhood does vamp a lot of short-term volume and liquidity, and they ultimately build something really cool, the volume and liquidity that they'll bring in is just going to create a rising tide that lifts all ships. So I do think Robinhood's extremely bullish, and I'll talk about that after this Upshot conversation here. But yeah, so let's do some housekeeping, boys. If you're following, there's 177, about 200 people in here today so far. That'll climb throughout the day. Let's go do one thing, right? Go over to mcg.live, right? This is the run of show today. We're going to be talking about Robinhood. We're going to talk about the war, which you already kind of did, and go through market updates and interviews today on MCG. Okay, we got Upshot cars coming on at 12:30 right now as soon as I get off this, and then PO Systems in about an hour and a half. So you got a little bit of time there before that, but I know this one's very, very exciting as well. They're doing really big things. I think they were number one on Open Router today. So going to be a pretty crazy call. I think we're going to rip open some packs, which is exciting. So again, if you're in the comments and you want some packs, now's your time to make yourself known because, the team has blessed us, I think, with a few to give away. So we'll see about that. With that being said, get down here, give it a like, throw a retweet on it, and we're live. We're going to be ripping through it today. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to bring up my boys. We're going to talk shop, see what's going on with Upshot. Retrium is in the building. Retrium. Oh,
Hey, what's up? How are you going, man? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, dude. You sound good. This is exciting. We've been doing a lot of TCG conversations, Pokemon conversations, trading card conversations on the show. So it's really nice to get you and get your perspective because I do think it's valuable. Even in the last couple of weeks, it feels like we've seen a bit of a top in volumes according to some of the data I've been seeing. So, curious what that's attributed to in your eyes. But thanks for joining us today. We're excited to chat, Retrium.
Thanks for having me. And if you are a fan of cards, then you're talking to the right person and the right product.
So I'm not like a big card guy myself. As a kid, I collected, the baseball cards, the football cards. Never really got into Pokemon until this thing started blowing up, and some of my friends really got into TCG. So they started open packs, and I would like sit there and watch them. It's so addicting. Like I will sit there and watch all night these packs being ripped, especially when it's plus EV. They built out bots and everything to where like it'll ping them when it's plus EV or it's set to hit soon, and they have a great system there. But I've gotten really interested in it. So yeah, we got the right guy to talk to with the local quant for cards. But how are you doing? Maybe you could give us a bit about yourself real quick before we get started.
Yeah, super excited to be here. Thanks for all the introduction. I was actually lurking backstage for a while, and it's quite an interesting show.
Thank you.
I haven't looked at the token market for a while, so it's quite enlightening to see you go through all of them. But yeah, I started my journey as a kid. I remember, the first ever Pokemon card that I ever gotten. It was such a special moment for me.
What was the card?
It was actually a Zapdos, a yellow Zapdos. It was one of the first editions, but it ended up getting confiscated by a school teacher.
No. That's a trauma building moment there.
It is trauma. I wish she didn't crumple it because it would be probably worth a lot more uncrumpled.
Dude, that's
But
just harsh.
back then it was a backyard thing, right? School kids playing this game together, battling after class. But yeah, my background is really I come from the business traditional business world, private equity. Did a bunch of early stage stuff in 2016. Decided to devote my entire life into this magic internet contract ecosystem. And since then, I've done startups. I've done a bunch of company building. I've done a bit of investing myself, and now I'm here building this startup.
Very cool. What are some of the the investments you've made in the past, or maybe startups you've worked with?
Oh yeah. So I worked for my previous startup in the 2021 era was actually a identity platform. Back then, it was all about NFTs, and what we were trying to do was connect NFTs to identity, and for games to be able to, for users to be able to use that in a variety of different games and platforms. It ended up being acquired by a company called Grid. They've pivoted a bunch of times, so I'm not too sure what they're up to lately. But yeah, those were my experience. And Upshot really is the new love child for us, and it is my passion right now.
That's kind of interesting. I feel like I talked to a lot of the guys at Collector Crypt, and it seems like many of them come from Magic Eden or these like this background in NFTs. Do you see that? Like, is the community of NFTs have they kind of come together and rallied around TCG today?
I do think that is the case, and I think it's just the industry's way of pivoting and naturally finding a new form factor to express these financial assets or digital primitives, really.
And I think that was always the thing. I mean, you were clearly around for the NFT days, as was I. And I remember looking at the JPEGs and being like, okay, this is kind of cool, but I always envisioned like, we got to take this further. Like NFTs can be very valuable. And right now it's kind of getting this bad rep because people are trading JPEGs. The boomers hate it. But you know what? We can have NFTs for, IDs, for, house deeds, for ownership over everything. And I was like, this is the future that I see is so bright. And it's actually kind of taking shape much more now when people are opening these packs and stored as an NFT on the blockchain. And like, this is the future of NFTs that I think a lot of the early believers kind of envisioned.
I think so too, because if you look at it from a principle level, right, it's a piece of technology. It's a string of code that allows you to have a digital entitlement tied to something, right, on chain, off chain. But the problem was people started speculating on things that necessarily did not have any intrinsic value. And it's kind of like how this whole industry started, right? A lot of it were memes. A lot of it were literally monkey pictures or dinosaur pictures, whatever animal you could think of, it was represented as an NFT.
Yeah.
But it's interesting now because it's found a new form factor where you can have these real world assets or so-called cards sitting in slabs in someone's vault represented on chain, which is portable, which brings a lot of benefit as well. But the one qualm that I have is you still need to trust someone, or you need to trust the company to still have that card in their vault. And you don't quite know if they're rehypothecating it. You don't quite know if the card actually exists in the company's vault. And I think this will become more of a problem as more Collector Crypt, more copycats of them spawn. Actually, I think it will become more of a problem.
Interesting. Are you guys solving that at all at Upshot?
For us, we're different in a way where we're not quite putting Pokemon cards on chain. What we're doing here is we're reimagining the whole prediction market genre as a trading card game itself. So we're a different game. We're our own platform with our own cards, with our own predictions, and different ways that people can win prizes.
And this is where things get really interesting because I've been monitoring this trading card TCG meta, and recently we saw even games like again sprouting out off of the back of like the white labeled collector crypt product, and all of a sudden now we have okay, you can open cards, and okay, now there's a beautiful front end. I can open cards, it's really fun. Maybe I can crack a slab. Like there's all these gamification of it, and now we go to someone's actually built games on top of this stuff, and I can walk around a field and collect Pokemon cards and now redeem these in real life, and this is like wow, this evolution is pretty crazy happening in real time to where we go from like, the old way of doing cards, which was expensive, illiquid, to now we have liquid cards and I can actually play with them, redeem them in real life. And like, it's all gamified. And it seems like that evolution is so beautiful. Maybe talk me through a bit how Upshot is kind of moving towards this evolution in trading cards.
Yeah, so it is beautiful in a sense where when you have these assets represented on chain and being able to be interoperable almost in different apps and different ecosystems, it definitely allows the user to bring more utility to your collection and your cards. For us, what we really are trying to solve here is prediction markets were simply very inaccessible for the average person. I'm sure you have friends and family who want to use prediction markets, but because they've never traded a stock or never had experience trading perps, they find it super difficult. So when you have it in a form factor that is a card game, it becomes approachable, it becomes easy for people to understand. And the best part about what we're doing is we're creating a game that regular retail can finally have edge again. Because in a lot of markets, there are two people making money. One is the sophisticated market maker, and the other one is the pro trader with a lot of edge. They typically sit in a barbell situation where retail gets jumbled up in the middle and get basically robbed. But in a card game like this, it's too inefficient for market makers and pro traders to use this platform. So what we're trying to do here is make things easy, make things fair, and most importantly, make things fun for the average person.
It's interesting. You're kind of on the bleeding edge of two relatively new primitives. I mean, I actually just learned the other day that Polymarket started during COVID when someone made this COVID prediction market of when will COVID end, and it got like no volume for the longest time. That was like the inception of prediction markets, of course, recently blowing up, and then TCG really recently blowing up as well. And like you're at the cutting edge of both of these sectors. Maybe I walk it back kind of to the origin and inceptions of Upshot. How did this get started? And like, what was the thinking between like, we need to bridge this gap between TCG and prediction markets and like make something like a unicorn of the two?
Yeah. So look, well done to Polymarket. They've been grinding for so many years and they've done really well. They've created a whole category in itself, right? Which is this whole industry that's also spawning on the backbone of prediction. The core thesis that we have is, okay, Polymarket, Kalshi, a bunch of Limitless, a bunch of other prediction markets, they're going to create what we call information marketplace. And it's cool because for the first time ever, humans can trade information. Whether you like it or not, it's out there. It's a primitive that everyone can use. But on the backdrop of that, we think that predictions as a genre is super interesting to explore. And we want to create prediction play, meaning the average person getting exposed to gameplay that is prediction based. And yeah, that's Upshot in general. We have two different game modes for people to play and explore. And it's about cards being predictions on the future. And when they come true, users get a shot at cash prizes.
Can you maybe walk me through a bit of the platform so we can get like a visual and general understanding of what this actually looks like?
Yeah, if you go to the top nav bar, click on packs. Like any trading card game, we have packs. And we have packs covering a wide range of different categories like sports, entertainment, finance, internet culture, etc. And what you would do is buy a pack, rip it open, and unlike other markets where you have to go into the marketplace and pick a prediction or a market that you want to participate in, Upshot gives you these predictions at random. So you get a bunch of these cards and you play a decision-making game against other players to basically unlock those cash prizes. So cards I saw you scroll through a bunch of them, are basically predictions. And the predictions could be quite wild. The predictions could be game-based. In this case, it's about American sports and ESPN. And it covers a lot of the conversational topics on the internet.
I guess I'm still having a hard time understanding. So you're not getting cards, you're getting predictions. Am I understanding that right?
You are getting predictions in the form factor of trading cards.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So so can I mint and redeem these, or there's no real purpose to mint and redeem like the predictions? How does this look, I guess, if the
Yeah.
prediction is correct?
So what you're looking at is actually instant wins, which means people who pull these cards out of the pack instantly receive cash. It's one of the very sought after cards on the platform right now. So what you're getting is a digital card with predictions printed on them. And when it comes true, you basically win the prize on the card, which are cash. It could be cash. It could be some virtual currency. Right now, everything is actually digital on the platform. Though we do have physical cards that we're planning, that will be announced at a later date.
Interesting. So it's almost like a redesigned prediction market more than anything.
That's right. It is a reimagined form of a prediction market, in a style that is differentiated to a lot of products that you see out there.
I see. And this kind of goes back to our earlier conversation about, what was the biggest issue with prediction markets currently? It's like the average person doesn't understand them in a big way. So you guys are kind of doing this to gauge towards that, I guess, more retail audience, if it makes sense. Okay, cool. Interesting. So what are you like? How is this working in reality? Are you seeing people use it? Are you seeing, what's the feedback look like? I think is what I'm interested in.
Yeah, feedback has been great so far. I think like any new product on the market, we have a ton of work to do. We constantly talk to our users. We constantly talk to whoever's using the product. Right now on the platform, there is over, I believe, I need to refresh my dashboard, but there's over 80,000 in prizes to be won right now from users ripping open packs and playing these games. We're still in our early days, early innings, so we're tweaking the product constantly, and we're still growing in terms of our user base.
Got you. Okay, so I'm looking through it now. How to use Upshot. Open a mystery pack. So I open one of these packs. I get all these predictions, right, as seen right here. Some of them may be predictions I like, others I disagree with. Who makes these predictions? I guess on the other side of it. The equation.
So my team creates these cards. What we do is we take the most hottest, exciting topics and we put them into a pack. We frequently talk to our community as well and listen to their feedback. They sometimes give us suggestions. And I think if we do our jobs correctly, the community itself will build these cards alongside us.
Interesting. Okay. If the community builds cards alongside you, is there some reward for creating these predictions?
Right now we do credit some of our members whenever they come up with a really cool idea. But down the track, there needs to be a self-service way for users to create these cards and then have them published, and also be incentivized for rewards.
Okay. So now I guess my question becomes, what's like the go-to-market strategy for this? Who's the person you're targeting? Because we've reimagined this idea of prediction markets. You can open packs in specific verticals, niches, segments, sectors that you like. You get all these different predictions, and if they hit, you cash out on them. Okay, cool. We get the idea. What if there's a prediction I don't like? Can I sell it on the marketplace? Is there? Oh, well, I see a marketplace right on the top. Can you walk me through what that process looks like?
Okay, so if you got a bunch of cards, what you can do here on the marketplace is swap them with other players and swap them for other cards. Now, we have what you call a contest mode, also on the top of your screen. Contest is basically, to the Americans out there, it's almost similar to fantasy sports, where you build a hand or you build a lineup of predictions you think will come true. And basically you score points when they come true and you compete with other players. So the go-to-market here for us, the target user is really someone in between a sports fan / slash card collector. And what we hope to do here is create a unique experience where fans of a particular sport can rip open packs during a major event like a football game or NBA game, etc. Now, if you imagine you and I, Dome, rocking up to a bar or sports bar or anything like that, we are there, we're socializing, we're having fun, maybe over a bunch of drinks. But at the same time, Upshot packs are available and we can rip them open, debate about the different outcomes and the different predictions on the cards. Maybe we'll get into friendly arguments. And at the end of the night, we trade those cards with one another and we walk home with them. That's the experience that we want to create. The other experience that we want to create is people rocking up to a game and not knowing what they want to bet on, what they want to do, but they want to have a stake in whatever that they're watching. Upshot provides that experience. You don't necessarily need to be a hardcore bettor, but we can give you something to care about when you're at a baseball game with your friends.
This is really interesting. I even like envision, we go back to that conversation about walking into a sports bar. There's jukeboxes or whatever you can put in a song. I also see like sort of a vending machine for this where people can go and make predictions, open a pack and get all these cards. Maybe it's physical and you can like scan it and redeem it or whatever it might be. But like that would be really cool. We're in there for the big World Cup game and I can rip open the pack and get all these predictions and sit with my friends there and trade it during the game while the game's live. Like that's a pretty fun experience, and you kind of brought it to real life here, which is interesting.
Yeah, I hope to actually be able to share this experience with a bunch of friends in real life as well myself. So stay tuned. We'll have physical cards hit the store hopefully very soon, and let's see a bunch of our users rip them open in real life.
That's awesome. I want to touch on this go-to-market strategy again a little bit. So you have the audience, I think, kind of honed in on here. What does that strategy look like for go-to-market and like finding and catering to this audience?
Yeah, the other audience that I think will be super fun to enjoy cards with is streamer to audience relationships. So yourself, you run a stream. What if we can have some cards that you can rip on screen? And you can debate the outcomes with the audience and you can share cards with everybody as well. That's also another relationship that we want to harness. We want to build across the internet, really, where every creator, every brand can hopefully have their own branded packs of cards on Upshot that they can share with the audience.
Interesting. Yeah, this is a really cool angle to it. I definitely can see the mainstream appeal. Do we want to open some packs and kind of show it off to the people and maybe give some away?
You know what? If you can get started with an account, what I can do is send packs over to your site and let's experience it together.
Okay, let's do it. Let me set something up real quick.
Let's do it. All I need is your Upshot username, and I'm going to fire away some packs your side.
Okay, and do I need Solana in my account to open these, or is this gasless?
It's all gasless. It's all just email based, although there are a variety of ways you can add funds. Our base currency is actually USDC.
Okay. All right. Got to sign up here. Bear with me as I create this account.
All good. It should be very, very fast and speedy as well.
Yeah, I see you guys use Privy then, so it sets up a wallet and everything automatically, huh?
Yeah, it does. But we do our best to obscure that wallet away from the end user. They don't need to know that it's a wallet powering the whole thing on the back end on a database level. But yeah, I think the whole industry is using Preview right now.
Yeah. All right, still loading for me here. I'm gonna try to refresh. Okay, there we go. Your profile. Sweet, edit profile. I'll do Dinero Dom as my username.
Yep. And I will look for you so I can send you some packs.
Okay, sweet. Dinero Dom is created.
Narrow Dome is created. I see it on my end, and I'm shooting those packs over to you right now. In a few seconds, you should be able to go to your dashboard and be able to check out the packs that I just sent you.
Okay.
There you go. Go to collection on your left and click on packs. Right
Oh,
there.
look at that.
There you go. And it's in your account already. Now, if you want to send it to your audience, if you want to send it to your users, right, there's a little arrow at the top right of each pack that you can click. And all you need to do is put their username in there.
Okay. So here's what we're going to
There
do.
we
We got 10 packs then. We'll rip a few and we'll send them to everybody here. So I'll think of a number 1 through 10. I'll think of a number 1 through 5. First one to get the number, you'll get the first pack. And then we'll send it to you. I'll get your username written down. So got a number 1 through 5, got one in my head. We'll wait for the first person to guess it. See a couple of you guys in here. In the meantime, this will be for that number. I will open it. I will open it now and we'll go to it. So let's see. Open the people's pick. Predict the fan voted winners of the 2026 ESPY Awards live from Lincoln Center. Okay. Got you. Let's see. And we can see my screen. Perfect. All right. And I can send the full contents of this pack to somebody.
This one that you've already opened, you can't, but the closed packs, you can send them.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
I see. Can I send the individual cards to people?
Right now, no. Right now, no. We'll probably have that in the future.
Okay. Here we go. 3 was the number I was thinking of, but since you guys participated, I will give both of you guys packs as well. But let's do this one. The next one will be for you guys. Here, everyone that commented, I got you with the pack. But all right. So let's see these cards. First card. If you want to give us a little TLDR on what some of these cards are, feel free to. Pretty self-explanatory, though.
Yeah, they should be pretty self-explanatory. So it's basically, that's the prediction on the card. Anthony, Kim, Bam, Adebayo, if they win their category, you basically get $6, just like that.
Okay. This is pretty cool. Okay, this is pretty cool. So there's number 1. Should I just do a reveal all? No, let's do them one by one. I think it's more suspenseful this way. Oh,
Sure.
wow. So is this
lacrosse? Madison Taylor, college athlete.
I am a lacrosse player. I used to play, so I am a fan of lacrosse. This is interesting. This is 332 gold. Can you tell me what the gold represents in the platform?
Okay, let's do this. If you hit reveal all your cards, it'll become a lot more self-explanatory.
Okay. All right, so we got the 5 cards.
Okay. So if you scroll up, right, and you look at what we call contest potential up there. So your goal cards are basically competitive cards that you use to play a fantasy prediction game. It is basically you building a hand or building a lineup of predictions you think will come true. So you're building different combinations of cards and you compete with other players and you score points, which is the goal points down at the bottom when they hit and when they land.
Got you. Okay, so if I build a lineup over here, what is this doing?
That's right. So you build a lineup. There you go. So you've got 4 cards. What you need for this particular contest is 3 cards. So if you just select them and build the lineup.
Okay. Let's see. Justin Gaethje wins the Best Fighter Award at the 2026. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a lock right there. Christian McCaffrey wins Best Comeback Athlete at the 2026 awards. Don't know about that one. Haven't been tapped in with my women's lacrosse. Let's do these 3. Is that how do you feel about that lineup there?
Feel good. Good. Now, so you have a potential of 777 points, right? That this lineup could potentially score if all the predictions come true. And if they do all hit, right now the predicted payout is $42. But it really depends on how other people score as well.
And do we know how many people can participate against this lineup here?
If you go to the main contest page, you can actually see the different people participating in the different contests. So there's quite a number of them, and it's up to the players where they want to use their cards and how they want to play.
Got you. Okay. So I got packs from the Etsy's or SBs.
People's Pick, that is SBs. So the contest is called People's Pick that you can go in. But you can also enter because they're sports cards, so they go into quite a variety of other sports contests as well.
This is pretty cool. Okay, let's give away some packs. Thank you guys for supplying the people with the packs, the good people here. Let's do anyone that said a number. So we'll get Heike on. Heike gets one. Dutch Feast gets one. Eduleng gets one. Crypto Jones can get one. Yahanti can get one. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 5. And we'll keep the other 5. I think maybe when we roll out some posts on this, we can give them away to people in the comments or something like that. So you can sell on the market. Okay, yeah, let's maybe go through the rest of the categories. But everyone I just pinged, feel free to drop your username and I will send a pack to you guys live here on stream. Okay, but let's check out this marketplace. So I got these cards. I guess what happens next? Say I don't want one, or say I want to maybe sell one and buy a different one. What does that look like here?
Okay, so the marketplace uses 2 different types of currency that the platform has, which is basically those gold points that you see at the bottom of the card. Now, if you don't believe in a particular prediction or you got a card that you don't like, you can instantly sell it and receive some gold. Or you can shop on the marketplace and get other cards that you believe will come true. So it helps you build up a lineup. It helps you compete in contests better.
Okay, let's see. Let me go to so I go to my dashboard. Let me see what I got and see if I want to sell.
You should be able to go to your collection and you should be able to see your cards right now. So these are your cards. And if you don't like any of them, you can instantly sell them.
Okay, so let's see. I'll have to look through these more. Let's say though I don't like this one has 627 gold. What happens if can I insta sell this one?
You can.
Okay, so let's see. If I sell this card, I want to go and maybe buy another one I believe in more. So I'll do, or though I just set this up for a contest though, right? So
you haven't submitted to your contest, so it's still in your profile.
Okay. So then I'll sell this for sake of conversation here. So I insta sell this. Who's the buyer there? Is it you guys?
There's actually AMM powering it. So these cards can be relatively liquid.
Interesting. Okay, so now I got some money then, or what I've got in. Where does the gold show up?
So you've got some gold. It should show up in your dashboard.
Okay. All right, let's see if
I
want to
refresh. It should pop up. Yeah.
See what I can buy for 290 gold that I like. Okay, 298 gold. Is there a filter? Yeah, let's see.
You can filter even by contest itself.
Can I filter by amount? Might not have enough gold to buy some of these.
Yeah, it depends on what's available as well and what other people are swapping your cards for.
Got it. Okay. We'll hold off on buying something. Let's send some of these packs out. Okay. So here are my packs. Dashboard, collection. All right, got 9 packs. Here we go. All the same. Let's send. Okay, so we got HIKKI, Heike. Send him one. Is it capital? Okay, perfect. HIKKI. Looks up there, same profile. Yep. Boom. The people's pack, quantity 1. Irreversible. All right, send pack. All right.
Done.
That was easy. Okay. Well, Heike, maybe in the comments you want to let us know what you get. Let's see. Yaha. All right, I'm gonna have to spell this one out here slowly. YAHA.
Yahayati Kim.
Yeah. maybe you could spell that for me because I don't have my eyes on screen here.
YAHA. And I think she should pop up straight away. Oh, not yet. There you go. Yahayati Kim,
Right here.
4th person, right there.
All right. You get one. Boom. Pack number 2 sent.
Boom.
Done. Let's go. Let's go. Upshot is blessing you guys today. Okay, let's see. Dutch Feast. Got you. Got you. Got you. There we go, right at the top. We got one more coming your way. This is good value too. I mean, the one card I pulled was $6, and then the other ones were was a bunch of gold. So,
oh yeah, we've got cards that have given out $1,000 in prizes as well from a single card. So the value definitely is pretty wild.
What's the range there? Do you have like an idea?
On average, a card should a single win should actually give you your entire pack back. On average.
Wow. All right, here we go. Nice, we're on a roll here. All right, I got one more for Crypto Jones, and then that's 5. We'll give the other 5 away on the comments when we clip this up or for the long form post here. Crypto Jones. There it is. Okay.
There you go. Oh, boom. Crypto Jones. Well, enjoy, guys. For those who've gotten packs, I hope it brings you great value, great blessings, and plenty of wins.
Let's go. That was awesome. I appreciate you coming on. I think we're going to wrap here. You guys are on Base, correct? Is your underlying infrastructure built on top of Base?
Correct. The underlying database infrastructure is built on top of Base, but we're pretty cross-chain where anyone can deposit from basically any payment network.
Love it. Are you guys planning a token? This is like largely a token-based show. We like the alpha here. Is that in the works? Something you guys have thought on?
We haven't made any announcements yet for it, but stand by for future updates. Really, I don't want to front load that we are a token company right away, but I want people to first off enjoy the product for what it is currently, and if a token comes, it really is blessings and cream on top of the actual product itself. I think too many products front load they're a token company, and then the feedback gets diluted because people pretend to use the software to try and get some sort of airdrop. For us, we want to try and make sure that the product is fun first and that people use it the way it was intended to, and then we can talk about all those fun tokens after that.
What do you think? When you look at something like Collector Crypt, which had a token, I think largely helped them bootstrap a lot of distribution for their product. What are your general thoughts on like the powers of a token?
I really like the idea of programmable equity, and I think tokens do turbocharge that. Regulatory wise, a lot of clearance needs to be obtained first before more companies can do so. But that is the promise of tokens, right? Utility tokens combined with equity. It's a shame that a lot of the industry does have governance tokens that really doesn't mean anything. But I also think tokens, when done correct, can really help bootstrap products and communities. Not many companies can pull that off, especially in the early stages, but you either go one way or another. You go pure token, which is a very digital native way of bootstrapping a company, or you go the other way to wait for revenue like Hyperliquid and become a really good business first, and then have a token to surprise the users. We would prefer to be the latter rather than the former, because I think it's quite difficult right now in this climate to be a pure token native bootstrapped company.
Got you. Yeah, no, I think you're spot on with that. I would agree too. This discussion is ongoing. You said you weren't in the markets a lot recently, but Venice recently raised at like $1 billion valuation, and I think they sold like 5% of their equity or something. And there was this, whole breakout on Twitter of what was right, what was wrong. It's a conversation we have on the show all the time too. And I do agree with you. So I love the idea that you're leaning into, like a token kind of representing that tokenized equity when the regulations come around to it. I also, like Collector Crypt mentioned experimenting. I don't mean to keep like harping on Collector Crypt, but experimenting on the token side in terms of like, you have all these cards on the books, and there's like this net asset value, and maybe every time it dips below the net asset value, there's some sort of strategy that actually buys back the cards in that sense. And then like the company becomes the value of the underlying assets. And I think like that was a pretty interesting angle to it.
Definitely very interesting, and well done to that team, actually. Been following them for a while, and I think they're executing really well.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. I want to talk about traction. How's traction been? Obviously, again, like I think you're largely leaning to the system of like, adapting to the average user, the people that are actually going to participate and buy the stuff. How has like the feedback results been, growth, traction, all that stuff?
Yeah, so traction for us is slow and steady. I think we're still on the pathway to finding true product market fit. We're getting some good signs right now, and there's a few things that we want to double down on. And hopefully, in a few months' time, we will look like a very different company.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations. I think it's a really cool system that you guys have set up, and I'm always for innovation in terms of prediction markets and anything in general. So really cool what you guys are doing. We appreciate you coming on and blessing us. We'll get this full episode out. And again, we got 4 more packs to give away. So there will be 4 lucky winners maybe in the comments that we'll lob it up to. Of course, thanks to Upshot for throwing those packs out there. And we appreciate you coming on. We'll be keeping up with the journey.
Anytime. Thank you very much, Dom. And you have a lovely rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you.
Cheers.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
All right. There it was. That was pretty cool. That was pretty fun. Interesting. So like originally going into it, I thought it was like a TCG Pokemon platform. And I was like clearly wrong about that. Obviously, shame on me for not doing as much research as I should have. But when you have 2-3 guests on every day, it's a little difficult to do that sometimes. But really cool. So they're really doing more of a prediction market thing. And I think that's the thing I'm seeing a lot of recently is prediction markets were a very good, like they're a very good concept. I think it's simplifying them to a user and kind of creating a new primitive around it. That's going to be interesting. So I like how they've done that. And they're using prediction markets in a way that's not so binary, buy and sell a market live. Pumpcade's doing this as well. Right. If you've been following Pumpcade, of course, we had them on the show recently. They raised from Jump. They raised from a few big VCs. And their markets are not tradable. Like once you buy a position, it's just yes, no binary outcomes, right? Yes or no, you buy a position or you bet no against it. And there's no like selling after you place the bet, right? Like we see on Polymarket or Kalshi. And I think it's more digestible for the average user to have an experience like this, right? Well, where you buy a pack, excuse me, you buy a pack, you have all these predictions laid out, you can trade them, buy them, sell them. But it's not like, a live market that's confusing to people. So I do think this is like the direction we see prediction markets head into. And so they're in the right vertical, I think. So very interesting. Let me know what you guys get. If you're opening those packs now, let me know if you guys get anything solid. Hopefully someone cashes out something really cool. But that was a cool conversation. Very cool. We got PO systems coming on next. We have some time before they do come on though. About 45 minutes. Let me just check in on them. Hey. Okay. Let me just message them back there. Good for 2. Happy to have. All right, boys. Let's talk about the markets. That was a pretty cool project. We'll see what they can do with it. It's a new primitive, right? So I think it's a slowly than all at once thing. It takes time to build up. The dominoes have to fall, and then it kind of the snowball starts to grow. So they're innovating in a new primitive. They have like the proof of concept, I think, really dialed in from Polymarket and Kalshi, right? People like prediction markets. Now, can we take these to a more general audience? The sports lovers who can go and trade their cards with their friends in person while watching a sports game. So I think Upshot's doing something really, really cool. Again, I think it takes time. You said it's like slowly building, but I think once people get it and it clicks, it can really build fast. So goated. Thank you so much for the insightful stream. A big welcome to Meteora, and thanks for making this live event happen. Of course, big dub. Retri was the goat, man. Good luck to the winners. Yes. Let me know what you get, Heike. Bro, I never got a pack. Crypto Jones. Let me go to history. Let me tab back over here. You never got a pack. I will send you another pack if you truly didn't get one. Let me Someone was smart. They saw you comment. They just created an account named Crypto Jones. What I mean, I never got a pack. Bro, don't be wasting my time here. I'm not sure where I can see the history. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see the account that's sent to here. Can I search? Can I search accounts? Okay. Well, here, Crypto Jones, I guess make sure you're commenting and we'll try to get you another one. What was your account? Was it Crypto Jones or? Check activity. All right, I'll move on in a second here. Activity. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good call. Good comms here. No, this was the one I opened. Let's see. Contestant wins. No. Purchases. Pack opens. Rerolls. Yeah. Not sure. Okay. Whatever. We'll move on. We will move on. Nonetheless, cool conversation. Let's talk on chain, man. There's a lot going on. We're seeing some bounces across the board. PO, we got to check that out. I think before we hop into the conversation, too good. It's all good. Could be on my end. Yeah, double check, refresh. We definitely want to get you a pack, Crypto Jones. Okay. Let's see. I got some tweets for y'all. So let's go through some stuff, boys. Let's go through some stuff. How about this? Since we're on the topic of collector crypt, we got to talk about this. Watch.fun is coming out with a similar situation to Collector Crypt. It's like a gotcha, but for the wristwatch. Yes, this is what you think. Collector Crypt posted this. Precision meets provenance. Watch.fun x Collector Crypt. So I'm wondering if Collector Crypt is like the underlying infrastructure for Watch.fun, and this will be able to you'll be able to buy watches through Collector Crypt. Pretty low hanging fruit here. I mean, they got the distribution. They have the platform. Makes sense. Ave, is the war over? Dude, I don't know what's going on. According to Donald Trump, Iran is called to make a deal. Yesterday, Iran, they were rats. Today, they're calling to make a deal. So I don't know. But this is interesting. If you're watch collectors and you like watches, Collector Crypt is working with Watch.fun in some capacity. This is bullish Collector Crypt. We remember them talking about, Twam specifically saying, look, it starts with Pokemon cards. And Base Buddha coming on our show and saying as well, it starts with Pokemon cards, then sports cards, but then you get into comic books, who, by the way, coming on next week. Comic books is coming on. MCG next week. Then you get to comic books. Then you get to watches. And like, it's an infinite amount of things you can kind of provide in this gotcha-like mechanism. And so, it's interesting to see they're kind of expanding beyond just Pokemon cards. So really cool to see they have like new revenue flows and revenue streams coming in. So I just wanted to kind of take note of that. Let's talk Robinhood chain, boys. Let's talk Robinhood chain. And before I get into Robinhood chain, I got to give my thesis. You know what? I will give my thesis by just playing a video. How's that sound? Look at this. If you're not following the big Dinero Dom Zero on Twitter, boys, what are you doing? What are we doing here? Let's play this video though. Okay. This is my general thoughts on Robinhood here. You're fading the leading retail financial app because you think they're tourists. Surely the most successful retail financial app in history won't be able to cater to a less sophisticated audience. Let's not get it twisted. We don't need another L2, and the tokens on the chain likely top soon. But everyone in crypto should collectively want Robinhood to succeed. This is the notion I don't understand. Like the people that are hating on Robinhood, hating on Vlad, wanting, thinking it's vamping Solana and it's a bad thing. Like, I'm not comprehending it. Have you thought about the influence, connections, and resources Robinhood comes with? Do you understand what the full force of Robinhood could do for crypto? Not to mention, Vlad didn't just stumble across crypto last week. These guys have been building in the space for a minute now. They were some of the first people to bring private companies on chain. We talk about private equity coming on chain all the time here. They were some of the first to do it. If nothing else is true, Robinhood has always pushed the envelope when it comes to innovation and bringing accessibility to everyone. A rising tide lifts all ships. Let's play the video. This time I have my shirt on. Figured I'd keep my shirt on this time. But here we go.
So you're fading the leading retail finance app in
You
the
guys hear
world.
this?
Got it. You're fading the guys that took
like
private
Inception. I'm
companies
looking at
and put them
myself.
on chain via Arbitrum, via the blockchain. Okay. Look, guys, I'm no crypto tourist apologist. I don't like these tourists coming in, extracting all our money and leaving. Partially, it's on us. That's not me though. I don't like that. But Robinhood is not a tourist. These guys have been in the crypto game for a minute now. It's not like Vlad just strolled into it, stumbled upon it. Did you guys watch the holder call? Did you guys watch the Earth is Flat call? They came out, partnered with so many people. This is not just a meme chain, right? While we're building Robinhood chain to be the best for RWA, it works great for memes too, right? We know memes are a great distribution engine. I'm not saying that I think Vlad is going to come in with a magic wand and fix crypto. I don't think another L2 is necessary. I get it. Fragmentation sucks. I also think that's a bit of a non-issue. We know these crypto apps, these trading terminals, they're fixing that, right? They're abstracting the chains out of the mix. Okay. So like really it's a non-issue. But the truth is, have you seen the state of crypto? Guys, we're at the bottom. The trenches are dead. Recently they come back thanks to Ansem here, but like guys, we need all the help we can get. And yeah, I would really like the leading retail financial platform in the world to step in and cater to traders. Oh wait, but you don't think the
I don't know. You guys get the vibes here. Yeah, I don't know, Abe. I gotta fix this lighting. I think it's a lighting issue here. Gotta fix the lighting. Thoughts on VoiceBox? It's one I'm trying to get on the show. I've heard good things about the founder. I know there were some issues. Yeah. Let's see. I think Robinhood is bad for Solana overall. It's after the same market. Yeah, I mean, it's after the same market, but again, like I still believe that a rising tide lifts all ships, you know? Think about Base. I mean, was Base bad for Solana? I don't think so. Like I don't think Base had any long-term effect on Solana and its growth. There are pockets of liquidity flowing to Base and it affects Solana in the short term, but like all in all, like not really. So I'm not too worried about Robinhood. I think it's bullish. Look, Robinhood, again, I reiterate, the largest retail financial platform in the world. Okay, if Base can onboard all these users, Robinhood can onboard 10 times that. Okay, let's talk the thesis, boys. Let's talk the thesis. Okay. All right, we got this tweet here from Brendan Ma. In just under 24 hours, Robinhood Chain did almost 5 million transactions. Just on today's fees alone, that's annualized $12.5 million of transaction revenue. Of course, annualizing the hottest day of a brand new chain launch is very risky biz, okay? It's risky biz, but we'll take it for what it is. 99% gross margins maintained as Arbitrum-enabled L2, and the license means 10% of net protocol revenue accrues to Arbitrum. This is another conversation we need to have, okay? Lowest hanging fruit is Robinhood trading the first launches, the leading memes on Robinhood. Okay. But what actually benefits from Robinhood doing well? Well, two things come to mind. Uniswap and Arbitrum. Uniswap, Arbitrum, and Lighter are like the three things that really come to my mind, okay? Because, of course, Lighter is Robinhood's perps platform that they're using. Arbitrum is what Robinhood Chain is built on. It's an L2. And then Uniswap is the AMM that's providing the underlying liquidity for all the tokens. And so we see the numbers Uniswap did. And so we're going to kind of explore what benefits the most from Robinhood. Okay. With that said, Robinhood and Arbitrum are doing big things together, and it's only been 1 week since launch. Okay. So good point, Brendan. Let's check out Arbitrum. And I got to check out the market cap for Arbitrum too, because I haven't recently. Breaking 10% of fees from Robinhood Chain and other Arbitrum L2s will be allocated to Arbitrum's ecosystem. 8% goes to the treasury, while 2% goes to development funding. So 10% of fees from Robinhood Chain and other Arbitrum L2s will be allocated to the Arbitrum ecosystem. Dang, 10% of fees for Robinhood go to Arbitrum. That's interesting. That's pretty interesting. What is the value of Robinhood today? Value of Robinhood. Okay. Robinhood's a $105 billion company. $105 billion company. 10% of the fees from the Robinhood chain are going to Arbitrum. 8% going to the DAO, 2% for development. That's really interesting. What was the number? They did 105 or $150 million annualized. So 15 million would be profit for $15 million for Arbitrum and profit. Let's see Arbitrum's market cap. This is one of the few L2s that has gotten interesting because of this. There's no beta to Robinhood. This becomes interesting because you could almost call Arbitrum the Robinhood chain. We know they're doing the private equity side for Robinhood, right? They're tokenizing private companies. So Arbitrum's pretty much the beta to Robinhood because Robinhood, other than Hood, the equity, doesn't have a tradable coin to represent its crypto division. Arbitrum keeping 8% of those fees, 10%, 8%, of course, going to the DAO, is really interesting. This is trading at $555 million market cap or 871 million FTV. It's not even $1 billion. That's pretty interesting. Okay, I'm keeping eyes on Arbitrum. Let me tab over to let me pull Arbitrum up to the top here. All right, Arbitrum's up 13% today. Market looks horrendous. It's trading at a $550 million market cap, $870 million fully diluted value. I'm not sure what the vesting and unlocks look like from Arbitrum, but $480 million is not a lot. Now, $15 million a year. Oh, here, $15 million a year from Robinhood in profits if you annualize the last couple days. This is pretty interesting. You know, so if you bet on Robinhood growing, Arbitrum is going to capture 10% of that. 10% of that growth. This is really interesting. I would keep eyes on Arbitrum for sure, at the very least. And of course, track the metrics on Robinhood. Are those going to continue to grow? Are they going to drop off? My theory is that they drop off, at least for the time being, and they top relatively soon with some of the tokens. But again, I think Robinhood is going to be a force, man. I don't think they step in, wave a magic wand, and all of a sudden Robinhood is the leading platform for retail. But I do think they know retail audience very, very well, and they know how profitable a crypto company can be. 98% margins. So they have a lot of incentive to really push this market forward. And so we're starting to see them early inklings of embracing the meme coins, and it's interesting. Still have an opinion on Loria. ZOP, I would fade Loria. It was an interesting speculative play back when the market was a little bit better and when Andy Ares was really kind of leaning towards it. But I think today, Loria is a bit of a fade. It's been a long time. Narrow's kind of dead. I would sell if you have it. Yeah, vamp volume for a bit. Yeah, again, so like short-term pain, but long-term gain is the way I'm kind of looking at Robinhood. Okay, Arbitrum is one to watch. I truthfully thought they're going to be a multi-billion-dollar chain, but $555 million market cap and 827 million fully diluted is not bad. Again, $15 million is not super meaningful when you compare it to the market cap. Also, like, you know, it goes into the DAO treasury. Is that actually controlled by token holders? Do we actually have a say of what happens with that money? Those are two questions I need to answer. But Arbitrum becomes very interesting if you believe in Robinhood doing well and knowing that there's no on-chain beta for Robinhood. So interesting thought there. Robinhood mentioned on Bankless, they are onboarding their massive retail user base on-chain over time. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. That clearly seems to be the plan. Like, look at the pushes they made for crypto recently, especially even during the bear market. Their revenues from crypto have gone down significantly, of course, as have every crypto company. But yeah, Robinhood makes a lot of money from crypto, guys. They absolutely want to push the envelope forward here, and the margins are fantastic. Interesting note here. No, Robinhood mentioned on Bankless, they are onboarding their massive retail user base on chain over time. We'll have to listen to this, Josh. If you want to link that in the comments, that would be great. Maybe send it to me personally as well. I might even listen to it a bit today if I have time. What do you guys think? I don't know. Arbitrum kind of becomes compelling here, assuming Robinhood picks up or keeps up with this. I don't see why not, guys. Base succeeded. Now, Coinbase is a big crypto app, but like Robinhood is many multiples bigger than Base. They know retail better than anybody. They've been in crypto for a long time, and they're innovating in crypto as well. Like, this is good for the space. It's real deal good for the space. Vlad is an innovator. So, again, I think Base is the comp here. Base is the best comp here. And they've done a good thing for crypto, even though a lot of people hate them. I just think, look, no doubt Robinhood could fumble. We've seen people fumble all the time, but like I think it's a positive. People will come back to Solana very soon. Well, they already are. I'm going to go through on-chain here in a second. I'm a hater of Robinhood because I faded it and I was wrong, waiting for a pullback to jump in. Hey, at least you know. Robinhood versus Solana. Base took liquidity from Solana, but it didn't. But it didn't. For short pockets of time, sure, it did, but it not anything sustained. What sort of blackmail does Arbitrum hold over these guys to get these deals? I'm not sure, man. It's a good question. So there's Arbitrum, and then Lighter's the other kind of beta, right? If Robinhood pushes a retail platform, Robinhood pushes a retail user base, like Josh just mentioned, through Lighter, and they're trading perps. That's pretty. I mean, that's huge for Lighter. I think I saw someone actually from Bankless as well mention if Hyperliquid had this Robinhood integration, they would add many multiples of the Lighter market cap to their market cap. Wow, Lighter's only 600 million. Yeah, I mean, look at this. So Lighter's 600 million. They partnered with Robinhood as the perpetuals offerings on Robinhood. Let's look at Hyperliquid. Let's look at Hyperliquid because I think he makes a good point. This is 17 billion. If Hyperliquid would have been the lead integration in Robinhood, I think I agree with that take. They would have added multiple of Lighter's market cap to their market cap, right? Lighter's 650 million or whatever, 600 million. This would have probably added $1.5–2 billion, where this probably goes from 17 to, maybe to 20. So I think it's a good point. It's a good point. I don't know, bullish Lighter. Now Lighter's up only. Damn, Lighter's only a $600 million company. That's pretty crazy. And they just released a long write-up I got to read on. 600 mil. I got to check tokenomics investing here, but again, to be the perps platform of choice for Robinhood and their entire retail user base, 600 mil does feel pretty cheap. Shout out Rambo on this call. Here, let me close out some tabs. Your boy's lagging. Would that really move the needle though? What, $15 million additional revenue for Arbitrum yearly? I don't know what their annualized revenue is now, but I'm assuming it's not too much. Yeah, I think it moves the needle. 10% of whatever revenue Robinhood chain is making going to Arbitrum is pretty serious. And I think it's more of a narrative play. Like I wouldn't sit here and do price to earnings ratios on ARB. Like it's not good, right? 15 million on a $555 million company is not great. But the bet here would be that grows over time. Robinhood scales, and this is the beta to it. It's more of a narrative trade than like a fundamental trade, I think. But Arbitrum's beat down, man. Arbitrum's beat down. Look at this chart. Look at this chart. Man, I remember that Arbitrum airdrop paid, bro. It fed mouths. Yeah, so Arbitrum's beat down. True, but they could have onboarded just as many people without launching a new L2. Yeah, sure. I mean, sure, but bro, they want to own the economics. Like, it's not like 100% they could have. And 100% it probably would have been better for everybody. If they just went with Solana, partnered with Solana, built everything out through them, it would have been great. But they want to own the economics of this. They want to own the user. And they do that. They get everyone onto their chain. They own the user. It's not crazy at all. I don't like, again, I'm not happy that there's another L2 and it causes more fragmentation, but it's very clear why they did it. So they want to own that user. Probably slow cook over the long term right now has top lasted close to top. Yeah, let's check out some of the ecosystem plays here in a second. Did I see this post? If you DM me that in our TG, I will pull it up. Oh yeah, I saw Money Printer's post on it. I gotta read that actually. I should read that on stream. Ika, can you send that to my my Telegram? I did see that. It's a great post. I actually won Money Printer come on the show. If you guys have someone that's really based with a Robinhood narrative, we want to get them on the show. Yeah, the Arbitrum is cursed, bro. That chart looks terrible. Like, I don't disagree. But fundamentals have changed. And that's the thing you always look for, right? When something fundamentally changes, a chart becomes biddable. Something becomes tradable. Something has fundamentally changed here. The sustainability question is the big looming thing. Good for the space potentially, but negative for Solana. Maybe. Maybe. I think good for the space, positive for Solana. Rising tide lifts all ships. Josh still on vacay, got home today. A good call by Rambo, although it's only gone down since he mentioned it. No, it hasn't. It's only gone up since you mentioned it. It candled when it was announced during the Robinhood call. Here, look at Lighter, bro. Literally has not. This is the weekly chart, bro. It was like down here, I think. When was the weekly call? Like a week ago? It was down here, yeah. It was $1.70 before the weekly call. Rambo was talking about it. He's been talking about it forever, but most notably, it was at like $1.50. Yeah. But okay, let's keep it pushing. So I think that was pretty cool to note on the Arbitrum fee conversation. 8% goes to the Arbitrum DAO treasury, which is all controlled by and directed by ARB holders. Okay. Robinhood did 5 million transactions yesterday, and just on fees from the day, running rate of 8 figures. Yeah, that's significant revenue, boys. At the very least, keep Arbitrum on the watch list. Here, I'll even do this. It's earned this much. Gonna go over here. Boom. Boom. I had it on my projects lists from like a year ago when I got the Arbitrum airdrop. A year ago, I say. I got the Arbitrum airdrop in like 4 years ago at this point. Okay. Another bull post here from Kanal. He says, with much of the excitement around Robinhood centered on the Morpho and Lighter, I don't think the market has fully priced in what this could mean for Syrup. So here's another beta we're looking at. Last week, Maple Finance announced that Syrup USDG will be integrated into Robinhood chain and approved as collateral within Robinhood Earn, which targets yields of 7% on USDG deposits. Again, like what is the total addressable market of this stuff? How big could this get? And then you can really start factoring in like what the price should be. Under the hood, capital deposit into Robinhood Earn is allocated through a Morpho vault into protocols including Athena and Maple. According to Robinhood's head of crypto, these yields are driven by institutional borrowing demand rather than subsidies. Institutional borrowing demand. Oh, but Robinhood's for retail. Today, roughly 22% of the vault is allocated by to Syrup USDG. For comparison, Syrup USDC offers one of the highest stablecoin yields in DeFi at around 5%. Blah, 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 blah. The next question is whether Maple can absorb the capital without compressing yields. So far, the answer appears to be yes. That would be huge, right? If they can keep that 7% yield with all this demand. Deposits have reached new all-time highs of $4.5 billion total value locked, up 90% year on year, while outstanding loans have grown in tandem. Pool utilization across Syrup and Syrup USDT remains close to 100%. Blah, blah, blah. So there's lots of demand is what they're saying. We've already seen how powerful fintech distribution can be. Following Coinbase's integration, Coinbase users now account for 58% of USDC deposits and 88% of CB Bitcoin collateral on Morpho. Those assets represent just 1.5% of Coinbase assets under custody, yet they have become a major driver of Morpho's growth. So again, if Robinhood could replicate this, right, just 1.5% of Robinhood's assets under custody go into Morpho, that could be serious growth for Morpho. Again, it's kind of walking us back to the situation when Coinbase integrated them. This is the outcome. Robinhood's opportunity is even larger. The platform has roughly $325 billion of assets under custody. Even 1.5% eventually flows into Robinhood Earn, and 25% is allocated to Maple. CRBUSD increased by roughly 1.2 billion, representing around 30% growth. It's kind of mid. Has already surpassed 200 million TVL just 1 week. Now, this is 1.5% of Robinhood's custody. The team reinforced this direction during yesterday's quarterly call, highlighting fintech distribution and embedded yield products. Morpho's success with Coinbase, Robinhood could become a meaningful growth driver. Okay, so could represent 30% growth. It trades at 200 million FTV, which is 17% FTV to revenue. Assuming this grows 30%, you could maybe cut compress this a little bit. Let's check the chart. Check the chart. Check the Maple chart. Maple doesn't look great. It is off of balance ever since the announcement, though. Very clear catalyst. Market looks rough. I would do the same thing with this. Monitor growth. And again, I'm not sure where the token plays into this, right? If token's a shitcoin, forget about what I'm saying here. But one to monitor nonetheless. So we talked about Arbitrum being a beta to Robinhood, very direct beta to it. No, like general success of the chain, Arbitrum benefits. This is more so, if we can convert people to Morpho. So we'll see there. But nonetheless, great tweet. Great tweet. Okay, here he even has some Maple total deposits. Yeah, I mean it's growing very nicely despite the markets, to be honest. Down since January though. It's up since January. Yeah, so in a bad market, it's actually grown pretty. Okay, this is July 2026. Okay, it's been pretty steady in a bad market, which is interesting. Protocol revenue. So they're doing January, February, they did over $1 million. March, they did 1.25 million, 1.2 million. April, May, it looks like they did just over just about 1 million. And so far, it looks like they're close to reaching $1 million. So this will probably be closer to 1.5 million by the end of the month. So yeah, revenues are growing. 1.5 million protocol revenue monthly is pretty good. Pretty good. 200 million FTV. I'd keep eyes on it. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bookmark this and I'm gonna read their quarter two report that they just dropped. I'm even gonna add Maple to watch this here. I would recommend doing the same thing. Again, doesn't mean I'm necessarily gonna bid it, but let's keep eyes on it. Guys, and we got our next guest coming up shortly. PO. Next tweet on this. Another beta to Robinhood's success, right? Robinhood is partnered with Uniswap. Uniswap's going to be the AMM for Robinhood. So Robinhood chain does well. It's all flowing through Uniswap. Look at this jump. The last 2 days fees have been dummy. $1.43 million in the last 24 hours for Uniswap from Robinhood chain. Very good start. This is just from Robinhood. And we know Uniswap has turned on the fee switch, so there are buybacks. Let's see. So Uniswap did nearly $2.5 million on the 8th. They did nearly $1.5 million on the 9th. Today, so far. Guess that's the last 24 hours, according to him. Yeah. I mean, their numbers have been really good. This is not volume. This is obviously it's not volume. This is fees. Yeah, this is fees. Okay. I mean, that's really good. $1.43 million in the last 24 hours. I'm not sure what that would be annualized, right? I mean, 300 for like $415, $500 million if you annualize that. Right. That's a lot. Let's see what Uniswap is trading at. Again, general bet on the success of Robinhood. My headset just turned off. Okay, trading at 2 billion. Why is my headset not turning on, bro? All right, trading at 2 billion though. This is pretty good. Again, annualized. So let's go back. So this is trading at 2 billion. I'm closing this because it's making me lag. So let's annualize. This real quick. Boys, this could be huge for Uniswap. I'm not gonna lie, because Uniswap's been dead just since it's been Ethereum. $1.43 million in the last 24 hours for Uniswap. Yeah, let's just say $1 million. Let's just drop this down to $1 million. Of course, it's not going to sustain, right? So $1 million, $300 million annualized on a $2 billion asset. It's like a 7x fees to price to earnings ratio. Who's coming up today? PO, dude. PO, big project. That's really good. I gotta write down Uniswap, and they have a fee switch. Dude, why the heck? Why the heck is this not working, bro? Look at that dent I got on my head, dude. Oh, here we go. All right. Yeah, so 6 to 7 price to earnings. Obviously, this is not going to be sustainable growth, so I would actually probably be more conservative, like more like a 1 to 10 price to earnings. But still, this is Uniswap. Picks up in a good market as well. Interesting. And Uniswap does, they turned on the fee switch. Let's see, bro. Great Great call out here. Gonna do the same thing. Add or remove from list. I'm surprised I don't already have this on the list, to be honest. Interested. Yeah, that's interesting. Uniswap trading at a $2 billion valuation, $3 billion fully diluted, and they're doing, at this rate, over $300 million annualized. So very cool. Let me make sure PO is good to go. Oh, they're coming in at 2 p.m. I got 15 more minutes. All right. Cool. All right. On that note, we already covered this. Stock volume is growing. Bullish Meteora, bullish Sunrise. This was the stock perps volume for Hyperliquid. Just like Hyperliquid turned like a 3%, 2% share of their company at the start of the year. It's now like 35 to 40% of Hyperliquid perps volume is coming from stocks, right? 35 to 40% of Hyperliquid volume from perps is coming from stocks, which is crazy. It's not even coming from crypto. So it's grown meaningfully 1,000% in the year, $40 billion in volume. So it shows the direction we're headed, especially as crypto continues to lag. So bullish Meteor and Sunrise on this note, because, as of today, Sunrise listed, let's see, they just posted about it. This week isn't over. Tomorrow, SK Hynix hits the NASDAQ. That same day, at the opening bell, Sunrise brings it on Solana. That'll be a huge volume day. You guys can front run this. You guys can front run this right now. Okay? Here's okay. Wow. SK Hynix will be big. This will get a lot of volume. It'll be just like when they released SanDisk. It'll be just right like when they released DRAM. It's going to get a lot of volume. And SK Hynix is IPOing, right? Not IPOing, but coming onto the NASDAQ. Tomorrow, SK Hynix, which I actually recommended that they listed. I'm not sure if they listened to me. It's a top 10. It's a $1 trillion company. SK Hynix is a $1 trillion company, if you guys weren't aware. So this is listing tomorrow on the NASDAQ. In tandem, it's going to be listing on Sunrise. This is bullish Backpack, right? Backpack is, of course, the facilitator of this. Sunrise is creating the... Sunrise is a Wormholes Lab product, if you guys didn't know. So Wormhole Labs, back in the early days when fragmentation was a really big issue, Wormhole was your way to bridge from chain to chain. So they created this infrastructure. Sunrise is allowing you to bridge from, traditional brokerages to on-chain. So they're listing SK Hynix tomorrow, 1-to-1 redeemable via Backpack Securities, tradable across Solana DeFi. This will be huge. This will be huge. This is going to get a lot of volume. So this is going to do is bump up the numbers, meaningfully bump up the numbers for Sunrise, meaningfully bump up the numbers for Meteor, because Meteor is going to provide all the liquidity for it. So bullish on that. That's your angle for sure. Okay. So pay attention to that. That's huge. That's huge. And again, kind of goes back to the thesis we see here with stocks just continuing to gain market share, just like it gained from 0 or 5% to 35, 40% of Hyperliquid's volume and market share. I think it'll do something similar. Maybe I think it'll do something similar for Solana. We already saw it overtake meme coins on specific days. So really bullish on that. I got a few more things. Here we go. This is bullish PO, I believe. This is bullish PO. P0, who we have coming on the show. I'm closing out some tabs, boys. Okay. Bullish PO, bullish decentralized compute. Just in, the European Parliament passes chat controls proposal allowing private messages to be monitored. What? What? What are we talking about, dude? Eric Voorhees tweeted this out. They can and will now legally scan any person's messages, emails, and photos you send without a warrant. Not an issue for customers of Venice. What? Let's read into this a little bit more. Chat control has passed. They can and will now legally scan any person's messages, emails, and photos you send without a warrant. Come on, Europe. The way they passed this law when the majority of the European Parliament was against it will shock you. They waited until the most EP members were on holiday, so only a few were present, and then created an urgent vote for it to pass through. Wow, that's corrupt. There's nothing democratic about any of it, and big powerful forces are behind this that can manipulate the EU whatever they want. Democracy in Europe, it died a bit today, buddy. Democracy in Europe's been dead. Been dead. That's not good. That's not good. I mean, look, you shouldn't be doing anything illegal or sending illegal messages, but this is a police state. This is a complete monitored state at this point. Monitoring your messages, photos, emails. You have no privacy. There is no privacy. This is how you should go about living your life. Just assume you have no privacy whatsoever. It's honestly why I've come so far with like streaming. I don't care. I don't care what I say. I don't care what I do. I mean, to an extent, don't be an idiot. But like, nothing's private anyway. You know, so it's like why even try? But this is bullish for decentralized, uncensored AI models, pretty much. Decentralized, uncensored AI models. So this is crazy. And it seems very corrupt how it passed. But yeah, they can now legally scan any person's messages, emails, and photos that you send without a warrant. That is insane. There we go. Another reason to position in decentralized, uncensored AI models. Absolutely insane. We're talking about perps, guys. Let's talk Jupiter. We were talking Jupiter earlier, and we talked Gum a little bit earlier. So maybe I won't run through this too much more. But Jussie put out a good tweet, and I'll just reiterate. The 4 days since Gum Chain went live on private beta, it did 5 million in perps volume. It's 12x cheaper than Jupiter perps, order books based, isolated margin. Again, Solana's making a big push for perps. We know Jupiter was the leader of perps back in the day. They have since come to be overtaken by Hyperliquid. If Gum Chain is successful, this could be something big. Of course, bullish Jupiter if this is the case, because Jupiter has been doing buybacks for a year and a half now. So yeah, could be bullish. Great post from Jussie. Guys, we got PO in the waiting room. I'm going to, if they're ready, jump straight into it. I'll give them a few minutes. PO, Corey, if you want to confirm here in the private chat that you're good to go, we can jump into it. Otherwise, I can keep riffing for a little bit longer. This is a really interesting one, boys. If you're here for PO, I'll let you guys funnel in for a bit more because we did say 2 p.m. Decentralized AI, man. PO's been doing some cool stuff. I'll set the stage here. I'll set the stage for you. All right. Got you, Corey. No rush. We got you at 2. Just give me the thumbs up when you're good to go. If you want to set a PFP too, might be a little more digestible. But yeah, let's talk about PO, boys. Or you know what? Before we jump PO, let's look on chain. I don't have a lot of time after stream today to talk on chain. Sweet. I'll pull you up in a second then, Corey. But yeah, so we talked about the war situation, back and forth whiplash going on. Yesterday, the war was back on. Today, Iran's calling for, to end it, whatever. We saw Clued dip. We've been waiting on Clued. I actually want to include in this range. I moved this down recently. But of course, with the Solana dip in general from the Vamp attack we're seeing from Robinhood, you've got some interesting entries. Clued, of course, is one we've talked about a lot on the show. Pump Fund Hackathon winners. They're working with the Singaporean government. They probably do an ace round. They're working in memory. Memory is the hottest thing right now in crypto. Inference and memory. I think they're like, you can go hand in hand. Memory and inference are the 2 hottest things in crypto right now. Again, working with the Singaporean government. Great background. Seb is a beast of a founder. I think this one becomes very, very interesting, especially at these levels. It dipped all the way down to 850K. If you got that dip, bless. But I'm definitely looking in the zone. This is like extreme down here. I don't know if we get there. Meteor, we were talking about they're listing, the listings are coming to Backpack. Meteor is the leading AMM for all of these listings. They're like 90% of all liquidity. So those do well. Meteor is a direct beneficiary of this. They've jumped to like a $35 million annualized run rate yearly based on recent uptick in volumes from that stuff. Pump Fund, kind of curling down. Yeah, they got the looming unlocks coming soon. I remember people were angry that Pump Fund put out like they're doing these Pump Fund newsletters now. This comes right into like they're trying to pump it into unlocks is what people are saying. Yeah, I would say again, same thing with Pump Fund. Generally in this range, it's looking good. Pump Fund has done a lot of revenue these last couple of days with Ansem launching. And so again, Pump Fund definitely is one to come back with the market. I think it trades at a 1 to 3 price to earnings ratio, although growth is going down. So it's hard to, you can't say you're investing in a growing company when revenues are going down, but you can say when volumes come back, Pump Fund will definitely benefit from this. And this 1-to-3 price to earnings ratio quickly closes to like 1-to-1 and maybe even in the green for price. So 600 million market cap. I think a DCA on Pump is interesting here. Cards is down significantly. We got to watch cards again in line with TCG volume. If TCG volume is continuing to soar up right now and make new highs on highs, this would be a fantastic buy. It is dipping. So I'd wait for those to start turning around. Check the Blockworks. You can track it there. It's starting to get to a real interesting zone though. 37 million. I forget, I have to do the math on recent 30 days on what this would, their annualized revenue would look like, but it's probably right around this level. So, one to watch is cards for sure here. Watch the metrics. If revenue starts upticking again, you could quickly see a disjointed price to earnings ratio on cards. Talk about Clued, Primus. I want to talk about Primus and keep Primus in the back of your mind for this conversation because Primus is on bags. This is going to be part of the conversation we have today, right? With P0. P0 launched on bags, grinding nonstop. Finally got some shine. People were kind of scared of it, I think, in general, because it was on bags, and they're scared to touch anything bags because of the history. I think the same thing goes with Primus. They've been grinding in these compute capital markets, building futures markets for compute for a while, and before it was a hot topic. And this is trading at 512K. It's on bags. If bags continue to stay hot, this could be a good beta. Guys, I'm not going to continue to go through on-chain right now. We can do that after because I have my boy waiting. I don't want to keep him too long. Let me give a quick summary of PO based on what I'm seeing. Based on messages I'm seeing, they're doing 60K MRR right now. They were a top 3 open router. I think even today I saw them charting number 1 on open router, which is bonkers. Okay, shout out Tony, who's been banging the drums on this. I can even pull it up right here. Here are the open router program app rankings. Yeah, Cursor is number 3, but guess who is number 1? The normal now is P0 winning here. What are we talking about? The numbers are insane. I got to understand how this works. We're going to break it down. It's honestly even tough to know what to bid anymore when it comes to inference. We've had this inference conversation again since before it was hot, but now it is like the leading conversation on chain right now. And I'm trying to figure out what's the best metric, what's the best way to track the projects that are doing this at the highest level to determine if they're investable or not. Well, we got Corey from P0 coming on to tell us today, and P0 is making waves right now. So really, really great to have him on. Perfect timing. Let's chat. Corey, welcome. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Is this your first time doxing or?
No, this is I doxed before another interview, and also it's like 1 a.m. for me. Sorry, I'm like so jet lagged right now because I came back from China because I left my Mac here, like my desktop here. I needed it for work, so I had to come back, fly here, come back to Thailand just to get it, and then now I'm flying out again tomorrow, to go back to China, pretty much.
Okay.
So I'm just so jet lagged right now.
Well,
I
2 hours of sleep. You thugging it out with us. Yeah. 1 a.m. is it's a tough, man. It's a tough time. So you're on here chilling. But appreciate you staying up with us. You're based out of Thailand.
No problem. Yeah, based in Thailand and China.
How do you like that? Or is it like a digital nomad kind of thing? You moved to Thailand to just kind of build on the internet?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, Thailand is just a lot more people, like nomads, builders, and everything. And then I moved to China like a year ago with my girl, so it's easier there.
How does it stack up? I mean, we see like a lot of this AI stuff is happening in SF in New York, and we typically see like if you want that opportunity, you should be in SF or New York. China is also doing, making strides with this. How do you think it stacks up to some of these major U.S. cities that are leading in tech?
China is definitely leading number 1 in like AI and everything right now. Inference, like for servers, energy wise, everything out there is so much cheaper. That's why I'm going back to China too, because my goal is to pretty much have everything on P0 self-hosted and have our own server farm. And I'm not sure if you know, but everything servers in China, like GPU hosting and all of this, getting GPUs and everything like that, are so much cheaper to get out there and host out there. Than in bringing them back pretty much to buying them from the States.
Why is this? Is this like energy costs are lower out there, or like what's the?
Yeah, energy costs is subsidized by the government, and it's very, very cheap out there. Also pretty much after the mining ban, they have so many GPUs that are very cheap So you could buy so many GPUs that are powerful enough to basically run these open source models. And they have tons of them, tons of. You have so many sellers that are just wanting to get rid of these huge mining rigs they have because of this mining ban. You could just take over pretty much. And also Thailand, so you could bring energy over. Say bring GPUs over to Thailand and keep them here, so they're not in China because privacy issue people have. So that's like the whole goal right now, pretty much, is having everything self-hosted, because that will definitely boost our revenue like 10x, tenfold. Because all these open source, we're at a point right now where open source models they're not like catching up to like private models. They are at the level at private models. We have GLM 5.2, and we GLM 5.1. You have Mini Max coming out with a new model. They have so many of these new Chinese labs that are basically on the same level as Claude, Optus 4.8, and getting better every day. So that's why we're making this, huge bet on these models and open source models, and being the place for developers to be able to get access to all these models without having to pay, a crazy upfront costs, or $200 a month and so on like that.
So that's really interesting. Two things I want to touch on with that. Number one, it seems like energy costs are much cheaper in China. So like that's really interesting business, I guess, metric we want to tap into. And also, because of this ban, is it a crypto mining ban that caused all these GPUs to kind of flood the market?
Pretty much, yeah. So after like that whole mining ban, there's so many GPUs on the market there, like you could just buy. Not like the newest ones, but they're still powerful enough to run the models that are open source and you need.
Got you.
And also, even if you don't even get the GPUs, they have hosting farms that are like GPU farms that are 10 times cheaper than renting out host servers in America, like EU or the States or whatever, because they're actually heavily subsidized. So like China's making a big bet on AI, and they're pushing heavy funding into it. That's how we're able to get so many connections with a lot of companies too that are giving us free inference. Like Xiaomi, for example. I'm also in touch with Minimax. Like after this call, I have another call with Minimax later today at like 3, for another model for PZ to have for PZ Go access. Because all these Chinese models, so there's also smaller labs too, like StepFun. Talk with them right now too, that they have these models that no one heard of, and they're just giving inference with so people could use them. So we have the users. We have over 30,000 downloads on our CLI alone for PZ. We have active users who are doing at least over 1 billion tokens processed every hour. I'm nonstop upgrading our servers, making sure there's no crashes every day, nonstop. We're number one like in programming right now, number one in programming app, number one in general open router, global rank number 12. And we're just keep growing every day faster and faster, which is incredible.
Okay, this is absolutely insane. We're going to touch on it. I want to start at the top though. So, going to get to the 10x revenue if you're self-hosting this. There's a lot of stuff I want to touch on here. Corey, can we just start at the top, get to know you a little bit better? How you got into the AI world in general. It's a relatively new market, and I mean, AI has been a conversation for a long time, but obviously recently blew up. You seem to be a pretty young lad. How did you get into AI yourself? Give us a quick background.
Yeah. Sure. So, a little about me. My real world. I had a cookie business when I was younger. I was a kid entrepreneur called Mr. Corey's Cookies. We shipped over 5 million cookies a year. I had mentorships. I was on a profit. Mentors like Marcus Simonis, JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, all these people and everything. So I was in the business world since I was a kid, ever since I was young. All these, I was in magazines and everything like that for businesses and everything like that. So I was always in the business world doing stuff like that. And then in college, I exited my business pretty much, sold it off. And then I got into crypto. Yeah, Mr. Crazy sold that off. Got into crypto, DeFi. I got into Binance Smart Chain. Then I got into Phantom.
Do you remember what year this was?
This was in high school. So this was early on, I don't remember, 2019, 2020, early on. And then basically in college, I started getting more into Solana. And basically for P0, like I started wanting to build something that, has actual use case, something that people use, and that nothing is, nothing that's like not, something useful pretty much. So AI was very big in the beginning. Like we started in December 2025, P0. And the first focus of P0 was creator launchpad for basically AI agents. So you could type your idea in, and then you get your whole website output, your whole token launch, token management, everything like that. But we didn't find like find the whole product grounding for it. So we switched to the AI gateway because we saw like everyone open router, growing, GitLab, people like that need inference, and that's a big market right now.
So when did this pivot happen? Because like I said, I remember you guys. I've actually been watching P0 for a while. I liked your branding when it initially launched. Like this whole, I don't even know how to describe it. I'll show it on the screen here in a second. But I liked your branding, and I was monitoring P0. And again, it was kind of like this launch pad, which at the time I'd felt launch pads were kind of strung out. It almost felt like there was more launch pads than tokens launched at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were grinding. You kind of pivot to this inference market. When was that?
So I would say like 3 months ago. 3 months ago, we made a pivot. We did a silent pivot pretty much. So we didn't fully post about it. And all our marketing is non-crypto marketing right now. So that's how we're getting so many users, is because we're marketing towards everyone in the AI community. So on Twitter, we're spending maybe $2,000, so $3,000 so far. Also with our credits that are giving us, so probably 4,000. Just straight on targeted ads for people who like look up Codex or Claude, or people who look up CLIs, or people who are looking up like how to get free credits, pretty much like that. Because a lot of people, want to use Claude Code or all these other things, but they're so expensive to use, And there's so many other CLI agents like that are giving free inference, like Kilo Code, Open Code. So I was looking into like, how are they doing this? How are they giving free inference? How are they getting users so fast? And I just follow their same footsteps. So they're same. I just didn't reinvent the wheel. I just looked there, did, and pretty much apply that to P0, full marketing towards the non-crypto crowd, and just blow up from there.
So you launch P0 as an agentic marketplace. You kind of do the soft, silent pivot when you see, this inference start to blow up. What was going through your mind? Like, what was the thought that you had where it was like, okay, right now the launchpad thing, it's not really working, but this seems to be like the future and direction we're heading, because there must have been something, and maybe you saw, hey, open sourcing this stuff, these smaller models might be the future. Obviously Open Router recently raised at a massive valuation, so like it's been very validating for the people building in the space. I'm just trying to figure out, what was that moment for you in your head?
Because I'm always used to, in the business world, there's something you're gonna create something, it's not gonna work out. There's many times, I create a product for a cookie business, doesn't work out, it's not out there, and you got to pivot, you got to do something else.
Right.
So for P0, I already had funding. We already raised over 300,000 in funding like that for P0. So we had runway, and we have also massive runway and inference credits like that too. So instead of just having it go to waste, pretty much, I was like, let's make a pivot. You make a bet. There's nothing to lose. You can't lose anything making a bet, making a pivot. So I took a chance on it, and that's how it paid off pretty much.
Got you. Interesting.
I followed what the market was doing. I followed pretty much where everyone was heading, and everyone was heading. There's all these coding harnesses and CLIs, but still people are paying for the credits of the tokens, the models, or the subscriptions. So that's why we also have PZ Go, where you could pay $5 first month, or $10 after the first month, and you get basically a large amount of credits, pretty much similar to Open Code Go, something like that, or Claude Code, but much cheaper.
So it seems you're touching on a few different facets here. Maybe even start me there. If I had to run through the company and what it looks like, what are the different offerings you guys provide?
So we have PZ Go, which is pretty much our Open Code alternative or our Claude Code alternative. That gives you access to pretty much all of our open source models, GLM 5.2, Kimi 2.7 code, all the top ones. And then we give you basically higher limits on these models, and then free credit limits every day on top of that too. And then we have a PZ Go free plan, which is basically free credits. You get free daily limits through our providers and to our partners like that. And then pretty much our gateway is where users could directly just like Open Router, pretty much sign up, load up their account. Local payments, by the way, we have that too. When we first started out, we had local payments like Thai QR code, Alipay, WeChat Pay, all those payments, and we were actually getting so many fast payments that our account got limited, but I just fixed it. It's back up with Stripe.
Good problem to have.
Yeah, because I messed up the naming thing with it, but it's back up now. So we have local payments, like we have revenue, we are accepting money now. Like finished accepting money, but we've set basically funding crypto on our PZ gateway. You could fund it. We're like only provide one of the top providers on Solana that allow you to top up and buy with USDC or Solana, and then also your local payments, cards or stuff like that, QR Pay, Ally Pay, etc.
Okay. Before we get into some of the numbers, which there's a lot of to talk about, I want a general idea on like the direction the market's heading, and I think this will help us understand why we should be, building in this direction, how you guys are planning to take and capture a corner some of this market. So, in your words, this market seems to be heading in a more open source, decentralized nature. What does that look like? What does the future of inference, compute, AI look like in your eyes?
I'm pretty much saying it's all gonna be open source. Like no one is gonna in the future. China is making it so cheap that the U.S. model companies and like European model companies, labs, they're gonna have to lower their costs too for these models. And there's gonna be so much demand for it, like it's gonna get cheaper, because when phones first came out, they're very expensive. Phones were very expensive. Not everyone can afford them, but
Sure.
then everyone started getting them, and now it's so cheap to get a phone. So it's the same thing
Computers,
with
TV.
AI. Yeah, same thing with AI. When it first came out, so expensive. ChatGPT, very expensive, and they were not the smartest models at all, you know. But now later on, they're starting seeing more competitors, more people getting into the space. It's getting cheaper and cheaper, and it's getting made for everyone. So if you have a platform that you cater for everyone, you're just not catering to one crowd of people. You're catering to basically people who can't afford it too, who are day to day living, but they still want to have access to a good vibe coding model or good access to AI, or open source AI too, because privacy and wanting to know like where your data is going, all that stuff. There's a market for that, and that's what P0 is there for.
Got you. And a lot of people are coming to you guys to actually find that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe talk us through some of the numbers and what that looks like as of recent.
So for our PZCLI, basically you could download like on npm. We have over 30,000 weekly downloads. And then for Open Router, checking now live, we have over 157 billion tokens processed. And we process over roughly like 2 billion tokens an hour.
And
And
do
then
me a
revenue.
favor, help
Yeah.
contextualize this for us, because we always have people come on and say, we're doing this many billions of tokens, and it's very hard to put a dollar amount on it because different models vary and they fluctuate. But like,
I got that question a lot. Yeah.
how can we conceptualize like what does 158 billion tokens really represent in
So
terms of usage?
there was a person in Crypto Pete kept DMing me and asking me about this, about like saying which one is a part, what people are saying, like, it's all free inference, but how is this gonna affect to the token? Is P0 just a random pump and dump meme coin, and like what actual utility is this coin gonna have? So basically not all our models are free. If you look down, they added an investor page and it's with our revenue on ledger, and this is directly all live from Open Router. So basically every model that is not free, it shows you the paid money that we have so far. So far we made around $21,000, and then that like it shows you the hour rate too, and then for the monthly rate that's projected so far. But for the all time, the revenue ledger right there is 21,000, which we made so far in revenue, and that's from all the models that we don't get for free. So that's from basically top up packs that we charge. So we basically, when you're using the PZCLI, and you run out of basically credits, it says, hey, we'll give you 20% off of this if you use this model, or you could top up only $5, and pretty much these are quick payments. And also we had like local, well, we still have it now, local payouts where they could use Ally Pay, or they could use Thai QR code like instantly from their CLI, top up real quickly. And these small payments add up. And all these users too, which we targeted towards in these South Asian countries, and Asia countries around there too.
Yeah, so there's almost like two layers when you look at this stuff. There's the compute level, and then there's like the inference level. Are you guys pairing the right GPUs, processors to the correct models? Is that something you guys do locally?
Right now, so that's in the future. In the future, that's what we're planning on, moving all the open source models to our own infrastructure. Right now, basically, we have rented infrastructure, or we have it directly from the provider itself. So, like from Xiaomi, we just rent infrastructure just from them. We rent just directly from them. or from Step Fund, we just get it directly from them, and they have their own infrastructure out there. So if that's in like China, for say for these Chinese model companies, and but they have much more inference, much more compute than other labs would have for basically, for what we need.
Got you. Yeah, you guys are doing 60K MRR here, which is pretty impressive. Is this a new thing? Did you guys just flip this switch
Yeah.
on, or?
No. So we've been collecting like roughly for a few months now, basically, a little bit, not a few months, but like almost like a month or two, I would say, revenue. But this one actually had a bigger jump now recently.
How has the growth been looking? I guess maybe like previous months, were you doing 5K, 10K, like?
Yeah, it was probably like maybe 3 to 5K, roughly. The big jump just happened just these few days, actually, from our new ads.
Got you. And I want to talk about this because I'm looking at the tokens processed hourly in the last 24
Mhm,
hours. You have these big jumps. I would actually love to zoom this out too and see like weekly, monthly, daily. But
mhm,
what attributes to these big jumps? You mentioned some of this is from the new rollouts you guys had. Can you maybe touch on
mhm.
that?
Yeah, sure. So whenever basically a provider, they have like a model, they have a new model they want to like give out and promote it to people, we would target that model as like a new model on our CLI. So it would say, hey, new model for you to try. This is directly free. This is not included in your plan. You can use this unlimited tokens, and then that causes a big jump for those free models, which people, causes a big boost on Open Router. And then once you have a big boost on Open Router, people see like what PZ Gateway is, and then they click it and then they start using it on their own too. So we get a lot of direction not only from our ads but from Open Router itself because people are seeing us on the leaderboard and they're like, what is P0 Systems? What is PZ Gateway? They click it and then it routes them over and then that's another customer.
Okay, this is absolutely insane. I mean, you guys have been charting on Open Router, and of course, like I think you said it best. This is like the best distribution engine you can have right now is being number one Open Router.
Mhm,
You guys managed to do
mhm,
that. That's absolutely insane. I want to talk about how this works. And Enjoyer had a great question, and this is the conversation we have very often. So we ask this as well. Why do
mhm,
companies give P0 free inference? Is this sustainable long term? And I think it's a very valid question. Why are
mhm,
companies wanting to give you guys this free inference? As clearly that's where
mhm.
like a lot of this traffic's coming from.
Yeah. So pretty much there's a lot of in China, there's a lot of like small AI company labs, right? There's so many models now. So there's so many models and then there's very few people who want to give these models out to people. They could contact companies, but they need new users. So basically they come to us because they see all of our like users we have and how many downloads on our NPM we have and how much tokens processed. And basically the more tokens processed from us directly basically boost their revenue. Like if they boost their revenue, they could show to their investors, like, hey, we have people using our model. So say you're a new lab in China, you could start a new lab, an AI lab, very easily, right? And you could whip up your own model easily, under a day, very quickly, very cheap. But the hardest part for them is getting actual users. So if you're a new model company, basically no one heard of, basically, then like Step One is on a new lab, but they're pretty much new. No one really fully knows Step Fund Flash 3.7. It's an amazing model. I'm talking with them actually right now. We're working on something, getting their new model out for our people on P0. But basically, they need these numbers to grow for their company themselves. So it's a win-win for both of us because on their side, they're getting basically tokens, which is kind of revenue for them, and this is basically showing users. And then on our side, we're basically also getting more users and revenue because we're able to sell up these customers that we're giving free inference to.
So it's almost like it's just a really good top of funnel. How do these
Mhm.
users convert, right? So you have all these users, maybe using free credits. It's a win-win. You guys do a lot of BD, whatever. How does this funnel kind of work down into paying customers over time?
Yeah, so pretty much when we give all this free inference to customers, they have like a love for like the company pretty much. They're like, oh wow, this company's amazing. They love us pretty much. You get a lot of free stuff. And then we sell them up higher models. So we say, hey, basically, you could get this work done faster. We see you're doing this. I want you to try GLM 5.2. And only just for you because you're a good customer, 20% off limited time. So like if you go to our gateway, pretty much you could see we have a few models and like Kimi 2.7 code, and we discount them 20% off for our users. It's like if you're a high usage user too, we might even give you 40% off, like a variable discount to
And where
upsell you
does
on
where does
getting
this
these
margin
tokens.
come from? Does this margin come from the provider? Obviously, the more people you have coming through,
Mhm.
the more leverage you have to negotiate. Who's giving that discount? Is it them or?
So yeah, so people, and not a lot of people know this too, but the price that you see on Open Router is not the same price that we are paying. So basically, like say XAI, for example, they have their model, right? And they have a new model and stuff that they'll contact people to get to. You would pay a certain price to them, a discounted price, enterprise price, but the label price that you shown is basically that price everyone else is paying. So it's kind of like wholesale. You have a certain price that you're paying everyone else is paying, but you're still paying a cheaper price for it because you're having this bulk volume and enterprise volume, and all these users that you have. So it's much cheaper actually than people think it is, for it to buy these credits at enterprise rate.
Interesting. I want to talk about moat a little bit here because, again, it seems like a lot of people are doing the same thing, putting in a lot of groundwork, BD work, making these relationships, offering free inference, and then of course,
Mm,
like benefiting from the people that are coming in and looking from that as a top of funnel. It's not a new strategy. How do you
mm,
guys, I guess, take this momentum, take this top of funnel, and turn it into a very strong business that's sticky?
mhm. So you mean like how are we gonna stay long term with the free inference pretty much and like keep going
Stay
growing
long
with our
term
users?
and differentiate yourself from all the other people kind of providing the
Yeah.
same solution.
Yeah, yeah. So pretty much what my big goal is, that's why I'm traveling out, is getting our own GPUs and our own infrastructure and our own servers. Because like I'm not sure you know what Dolphin, there's another they have some
We've
base,
had
I
Luke on
believe.
before, yeah. Great guy.
Yeah, they have amazing model, they train themselves. And if we have all these servers too, we're able to even have our you can train our own model. Training your own model now is very cheap to do. You create your own data set. We could create our own personalized data, our own personalized model for a certain set, and release that ourselves. So this allows us to not only just be like a model provider, it's also be our own AI lab too. Because a lot of AI companies started out with just
Yeah.
doing a router, doing a gateway, and doing their own stuff, and then they actually made their own model. Like Open Code too. Open Code is actually making they're training their own model and stuff like that, and they started out with a CLI. So this would allow us to. I'm really like moving P0 to get our own infrastructure, our own servers, hosting everything ourselves, and then now like we have our own servers. We can even rent out infrastructure. We can rent out servers. We can rent out just compute to people. So there's many different avenues that we have in AI that we could keep going, for a long term.
You mentioned Dolphin. Like I mentioned, we had Luke on the show before, and they're doing this cool
Hmm.
peer-to-pool model, right? It's like decentralized
Hmm.
inference where people can, lend out their GPUs and other people can rent them and whatnot. Are you guys
Hmm.
thinking of a decentralized approach to any of this stuff?
Well, there's another project actually called Singularity on bags, and there's something similar. Reached out to them. They have something going on, pretty cool, like the where they have something node to node, peer to peer, and I love like what they're doing too. Could decentralize, just like what you were talking about, where people rent out their server and then they get paid out inference. So that was something really cool that we're thinking about doing a partnering, in the future.
Interesting. I guess on this training LLM models, Darth Info has a great question. Here he goes. There's no privacy here, right? These LLM providers can capture all the user prompts and use them to train their models. Is that part of the upside on the?
No, so we have a very strict privacy like agreement with our providers that there's no training on data. So that's one difference between like us and other people, that there's no training on your data for any like your inputs. And it's all private. Even in PZCLI too, it's open source. So you could go on NPM and check the code, and see everything.
That's really interesting. I'm not sure if you saw this. We covered it right before you came on. But
Mhm.
Justin, the European Parliament passed a chat control proposal allowing private messages to be monitored. I think this was a pretty bullish case for private AI models.
Mhm.
What do you think about the private AI model sector as a whole?
Well, so I think privacy in the whole AI it's very true. It's very important, but privacy on the whole AI like model is like it's very difficult because people could say it's private, right? But when you're the model like infrastructure provider, you're still seeing all those routed calls, right? It's not like nothing's encrypted pretty much, and it's not like the LLM is reading these encrypted messages and decrypting them. LLMs aren't made to do that right now. So there aren't. It's not like a private. There's like actual privacy model out there. People keep saying there's privacy models out there, right? That they say we don't train your data. That's all true, but there's no like full, privacy like model that decrypts everything, and there's still some way that the data is going somewhere and being read. It might not be saved, it might not be looked somewhere, but there is always a way that that data could be exposed. That's why a big push I want to do is have our own infrastructure so we could host our own and we could actually fully control everything, because we have a provider saying yes, train on your data and everything, but if you don't have full control of everything what you're doing, how do you know this? So that's why the big move is getting all of our own infrastructure and hosting our own servers pretty much.
Let's lean into this a little bit. We know having your own servers, hosting your own infrastructure is very important. We know it's an enterprise. Like enterprises cannot use, like they have to use private servers. Are you guys
Mhm.
going to offer more enterprise solutions as you acquire more hardware?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Once we have more compute and everything, we would definitely run out our compute. That's like a very big moneymaker in the industry for AI. Compute is everyone needs compute right now.
Interesting. Yeah, I think this self-hosted angle is really interesting. Are you using like revenues from the company and token fees to acquire this hardware, or what's the strategy behind getting your hand?
Hmm.
Are you raising money to do this?
Yeah, so basically help from Bags Fund also. Shout out to them. We're also basically in funding from the token and basically our revenue already.
And what's do you have like a specific split? Like 80% is going to buy hardware currently, and I guess this is a good pivot into token, like where the token value comes into
Hmm.
it. But maybe let's break down your revenue. If you're doing 60K monthly right now, you got some bags funding, you raised 300K. Like how does that?
Hmm.
What does that entire picture look like, and where does the token
Hmm.
fit into that?
So basically, we do net 30. So for all of our bills and everything, are paid net 30. We pay our infrastructure and everything 30 days. So after we pay out everyone and we have our profits, then basically percentage of those profits will be going to buybacks and liquidity. So it would be anywhere from 40 to 60% of those profits that would go straight into not fully either buybacks, but it would either go buybacks or strengthen our liquidity for the token. And that's what basically would happen every 30 days.
And so is that the margin, basically all your margin going into that, or how are you, I guess, like using money to expand the business and
That's just profit. That will be just profit taken about from like what we don't need. So if we have expenses,
sure.
servers that we need to take out, then that's taken out. So when I say profit, I mean the net income that we have left over that we could just spend. We don't have nothing to use for it. That net money that we have is what we would use for buybacks and liquidity.
Got you. Okay, that's a pretty strong model. Is there any way to track this stuff?
Yeah, so basically the investor page, that's all fully transparent and it's verifiable through Open Router. So you could cross check the models that we are giving for free and then the models that we don't give for free, and you could cross check pretty much the pricing on our page, and the pricing that we charge. And yeah, it's all verifiable online.
Got you. Interesting. Another follow-up question from Darth Infrol on, I guess, the privacy aspect. He goes, huh? When you use Open Router and they send the prompts to the model providers, what sort of contract you have that would protect user privacy? I'm not sure if you can touch
Mhm.
more on that, but
Yeah, so basically through Open Router, we have like you only select models that are not trained. So they Open Router allows you to have different models and show you if this model trains your data or not, and we have it checked off. And then also we have bring your own keys. So if we have a custom, basically deep infra, for example, or a different provider, we have our own custom keys that we add to Open Router, and our custom key basically has privacy. No no training on your data, stuff like that.
got you. To close out this token conversation, if there's anything else you want to add, feel free to. Do you have any supply control over the token, or do you have any supply control goals? I guess this goes to the buyback. Are you buying back and burning? Are you buying back and keeping some of those for maybe
Mhm.
subsidizing users in the
Yeah.
future? Like, what's the thinking?
Yeah, so basically our goal mostly is to buy back and lock the token. So our tokens that we want to buy back are going to be for locking it for future rewards and incentives, and then also mostly liquidity, because our biggest thing right now is strengthening liquidity for it too. So buying tokens and pairing with liquidity and locking.
Do you have any other thoughts for the token in terms of like network effects? Maybe pay with a token for a discount, or
Yeah,
just
that was
like. Yeah.
That was coming up. Yeah, that was coming up soon. But the only reason why we didn't start with paying with your token at the first, because we don't want any selling pressure caused on our token right now. So we rather just take all revenue in Solana, USDC, or fiat currency, and then later on, once we're different stage, we will accept our native token for discounts and stuff like that.
Okay, very cool. I want to talk about roadmap a little bit here. You guys are doing really good numbers. I mean, charting an open router. What are the next steps? How do you sustain this growth? I think that's a question I keep seeing up here in the chat.
Mhm.
Do you think there's enough free inference to sustain the current growth? But how do you guys continue to sustain this growth and scale?
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of free inference available to sustain the growth, and also we have from the 300K funding that we raised, we still haven't even touched most of that yet. So we have enough funding to even pay and subsidize inference ourselves. And then we have just countless other partners out there. There's new labs being created every other week. So there's enough like models out there to keep this going for a while, and for us to keep converting customers to make sure we have enough revenue to keep standing strong pretty much.
And the goal would be with this as when it starts to slow down or stop, you'll have at this point acquired a mini data center at this point where you can continue to offer some of this inference.
And that's a good question. I just saw how do I connect? It's actually mad funny. Oh, my phone died, but I use WeChat. I
Oh,
connect talk
chat.
with all of them on WeChat. Yeah.
So it's almost all Chinese.
Yeah.
providers.
So everything's on WeChat or Slack.
Do you speak
And
Chinese?
yeah, we do have personal connections, we like account providers with each model like provider and lab we talk to.
Do you speak Chinese, or how are you having these conversations?
My girl does it for me.
Oh, really? Oh, she's Chinese.
Yeah, it's full
You dog.
CCP power, so I'm using that to my full advantage. This is how I've been getting. I'm telling you, it works. It works. This is how I've been getting a lot of these connections and meetings, because like she has a lot of friends too, family friends. So it's all about who you know. And Shenzhen, so I'm going out there, and that's the big capital. That's where Xiaomi headquarters is for AI. So she's a big help.
So this is an interesting conversation. I mean, BD is so important. Are you guys looking to outsource more BD, bring more people on the team? How do you again, it's who you know, you said it, right? So how do you build these relationships and meaningfully expand this business, I think, beyond just the current offerings you guys have?
Yeah, so like I was just lucky enough to know people pretty much, and like a lot of it's a real like in China, it's really like connections, like talking and people, how you talk and everything. And
Traditional.
so yeah, basically, smoking cigarettes, drinking Chinese alc. It's only always what you're doing, pretty
Is
much.
that, I've seen it in the movies. Is that really what the Chinese do? They to work
Every
out deals, they
single
just drink
every
shots.
single meeting before you do it, you have to you get a cigarette, you have your Chinese alc, your baijiu, you drink. There's that's literally it. There's drinking and smoking. That's all it is. And if you don't, that's not, you're not doing good business. You're disrespectful. So that's
Dang. See, if I would have known that before, I would have just had a bottle of bottle of something here, maybe whiskey, and we would have just been shooting this entire time.
we have to. But anytime I have my Chinese baijiu right here. So anytime.
That's hilarious, bro. That's funny. But I guess to close out that thought on just continued growth and expansion, you even talked about how a lot of these AI labs started, in a much different place. Even Claude, was an AI
Mhm,
lab to begin with, right? So how do you guys
mhm.
go from where you are today to, a unicorn company or something much, much bigger?
The cloud's the limit, pretty much. The sky's the limit, pretty much. You could do anything now, pretty much. There's these solo companies that are raising billions of dollars, millions of dollars, billions of dollars of valuation. There's a company that's the AI builder, Pulsia, whatever. I think it's Pulsia, and he's raised millions of dollars of multi-billion valuation. It's only one guy. So the sky's the limit, and like we have the funding to be able to keep going, create our own model if we want to. There's so many different avenues in AI that you could keep going to, creating on and building on, that aren't even touched and talked about yet.
Interesting. How do you keep this up right here? Number one on Open Router, number 11 globally, ranked number 2 in programming app, 3 in productivity, 3 in personal agents, 8 in coding agents,
Hmm.
crossing 2 to 3 billion tokens per hour and growing. How do you
Hmm.
keep this up? Right? Because this is, if you
So,
can keep this up, you got something serious. We're looking at something serious here.
hmm so I noticed that a big factor when I was looking into other like competitors who were promoting, they were promoting heavily on like not Southeast Asian countries. So a lot of Southeast Asian countries, these lower income countries, pretty much weren't being catered to a lot, either not having local payments, like there's weren't any Thai QR payments or WeChat pretty much besides the Chinese companies. So that's why we did heavy marketing towards these local people in their local languages. Like you won't see the Twitter ads probably on you because like you have different, like you're in a different country or a different setting. But like say you're in Indonesia or whatever, you'll have an Indonesian ad that's in like your native language. It'll tell you like what P0 is, and there's no crypto reference at all. It's all AI. It's all you go to straight AI website, gateway.p0 or pz.p0.systems. We also updated our landing page so it's more focused on our AI gateway, and to like not scare people with crypto. And that's pretty much what our like biggest push was, because getting new clients, and that's how we start growing more and more and faster.
So I completely agree. For not just your app, but any consumer app in general, you want to abstract the crypto aspect out of it. Why do you need crypto? I guess is my
hmm
question then. If it's a crypto company, you have a crypto token. Do you need crypto for this thing to function, or where does that play into the whole system?
Yeah, crypto is a great place for like getting funding and starting on your project and your idea, basically. Because crypto is a place where you could build anything, and you don't have to basically do all these loopholes, like all these steps and rules, rules and stuff, but like all these different things that you have to do conventionally for AI lab or a different company. And the funding that you could get in crypto is much faster than traditional. On Solana, we could get so much more funding and show like, hey, we're the biggest provider on Solana right now. We're the biggest AI provider, inference provider on Solana. This would, basically this not only boosts your blockchain's reputation, but also helps a win-win for both of us. So that's why like crypto is a big play for P0 too.
Are you gonna ever have any of this stuff stored on the blockchain? Are we gonna like tie in the blockchain at some level of this?
You mean like for a data point, like data and LLMs and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. I don't know. Like, is there any point where this stuff just starts living on the blockchain, sitting on the blockchain, to where
hmm
the company now evolves from using crypto as like a good bootstrapping distribution and funding mechanism to actually
hmm
being integral in the system you have?
Well, I mean, we're talking about having our own payments, like P0 for payment methods, and then also P0 is like I want to follow the CLED model pretty much for where you have actual ownership of our company. So if say we've been reached out by any like VCs who want to invest because we're growing very fast, and VCs love investing in fast growing AI companies. The goal is to pretty much have these VCs invest on the market. So instead, like I see a lot of companies that are raising money and they start out as crypto companies, but like they raise money and then they don't give money back to their users, or they don't have a token, or they start losing their actual roots because they get this money and they're like, okay, we have this, why do we need this now? So like I actually still want P0 to basically be true ownership, because if you saw our new video, there's like some hidden like clues in there pretty much that actually someone tweeted about it and said they saw the clue, but it pretty much tells you that you have the true ownership of the company. So holding the token isn't just some like meme or fun. It's an actual ownership of P0 pretty much.
I love your branding, by the way. I've loved it since the early days. I remember, I think
Thank you.
literally, I said I've been tracking you guys since you launched, and that's the truth. I think I remember like
Thank you.
this style video was one of the first things on your page. There was nothing except for like 3 of these videos.
hmm
It's really cool. How are you guys doing this? Do you have someone doing this? Is this a model?
Yeah,
Any like
we have an in-house like designer guy. He's amazing. He makes our videos and marketing and stuff.
yeah, these look sick. Okay, I'm waiting for. I mean, you said someone already spotted. You want to maybe point out
Yeah. So you just the guy who given a paper.
I was like a contract.
Yeah, so that's pretty much true ownership. So it's basically you're owning the P0. So you have basically true ownership of, our token, our company. This is pretty much it's not like you're not, you don't have a voice. You are the voice pretty much. That's kind of like the whole
Okay.
vibe of the video.
Okay, so you got to pay attention to the Twitter. This is you're dropping hints on
Yeah.
there. Let's talk
We
about
got
that
some
though.
clues.
We do the ownership equity conversation on our show a lot. I think you guys
hmm
launched largely around the ICM Believe days, maybe slightly after. But nonetheless, this has been the conversation. How do we bring real, we have these early stage companies that get initial funding, bootstrap distribution, interest, whatever. But then when they actually go and become successful, the token holders are kind of left in the dust. You're
hmm
saying maybe we go down the Bedrock route, or maybe we go down the Ace route. And again, happy to connect you with either of those teams if you are interested in that equity model, you need a connection.
hmm
But what was your thinking behind that? You said you have 300K in funding or 400K in funding. I forget the exact 300K.
319K, yeah.
Did you have to sell equity for that, or is that non-dilutive?
Non-dilutive.
Really? How did you
Yeah.
get 319K?
So because we have like a lot of grant funding, so we're a startup. So you get a lot of funding that is like grants, and then also basically they want you to use their product too. So you don't need to give equity. If you're a startup too, and you just basically you have like certain revenue, or you started in this like sector or whatever, they give you like a lot of funding. So there's so much funding out there, you don't have to even give equity for.
This is a great point. I was totally under the impression that this money was you sold equity for it, but this is non-dilutive
Hmm.
funding. You guys have 319K. Wow, that's really
Hmm.
impressive. So do you guys retain all of your equity right now, or is there
Yeah, all
wow.
equity controlled.
Wow, that does definitely leave the door open for like rewarding holders in a big way. How are you guys
Hmm.
thinking about that? We have
Yeah,
Bedrock,
so
which is Meteoras. We have Ace, which is
so
MetalX.
I love how Cled did it with Street. I mean, I really loved like how Avi did his whole like raising and everything. He made pretty much his investors buy everything on the market, tokens on the market. And that's directly what I want to do. Because if you're in, like a stock, a real company, right, and you're investing, what do? They buy the stock. They buy the stock on the market. They or the holders get dividends, stuff like that. So why aren't we doing the same thing in crypto? Why, if you're getting invested, why are you just taking this money and not putting it back into your actual product? What's the whole reason of your token? There's no purpose of it. If you have a product, you don't need to have a token, pretty much. So that's why, like, the whole purpose is, if once we get investors, people who want to get into this, then you have to basically buy our token, because that's our actual asset. So we need, like, my whole goal is in cryptos, we need to stop acting like these tokens are not real assets, and we need to make sure people take us for, like, seriously, and these are real
Sure.
assets that they invest in.
Well, there's a lot of value in doing this. We see OpenAI, Anthropic,
Hmm.
billion-dollar companies, or nearly trillion-dollar companies, and they're private. No one's had access to them, and so
Hmm.
like just the idea of bringing these private companies on chain and making a liquid 24/7 tradable market is so fascinating. It's so obvious. Like, why are we not at
Hmm.
that point yet, or how do we get there?
Yeah.
Have you started these conversations on this, or is this more something you're just thinking on?
I've actually have a lot of like VCs been following me, people who like from VCs been following me, and my DM's been flooded. I just haven't been checking anything yet. My Telegram messages, oh my gosh, flooded with messages. I just
I
been working, focused on the tech, make sure everything's up and running.
I can relate on the Telegram side. Are you seeking funding then?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Do you have a valuation you think you'll be seeking it at, or it's just kind of up in the air right now?
Not fully. We have our pitch deck being created though.
This will be a pre-seed.
Yeah. So we have actually our pitch deck, our all numbers and everything. We're just gonna wait for like the end of the month, like July, so we have more higher token volume, because we're trying to hit 500 billion like within the end of July. So we really have higher numbers and then more users.
Help us understand that. What kind of leverage does that bring to the table? Obviously, these VCs are getting pitched left and right from companies similar to yours. 500 billion tokens and charting
Hmm.
on Open Router. Like, this is a great 30,000 plus CLI downloads. Like, these are great stats to bring to them. What kind of leverage does that, give you guys?
Yeah, so basically, and like, once you have users, that's the like that's where you're investing. And you have users, you have tokens, and you have people who are actually using your product. Then that shows, like, in the future, say there's a new model they want to sell to people. We're much easier to sell these models to our customers. So with more of these users, more token volume, higher user activity, it shows there's a real interest in P0.
Got you. It seems like right now you're targeting more of a retail audience. Is that the case? And do you guys plan to expand more to enterprise solutions?
Right now, we're heavily just in like retail, because like local payments, local Southeast Asia, that's our most bread and butter. Excuse me. Bread and butter, that's like a most customer base, but we are looking to get into enterprise too, for users, like for businesses who want to have higher limits and everything. We also do have our education program. I'm not sure if I touched on that. We actually sponsor schools in Southeast Asia
Mm.
for free inference, like free AI credits and PC Go to their students.
Would you guys ever invest in invest in other AI projects or AI labs creating products?
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. If it's interesting, yeah, for sure.
Interesting. Okay. Well, great conversation so far. I want to touch on this bags relationship. A lot of people think having a token on the
Hmm.
bags platform has been like a hold back for a lot of projects. What's your experience been like with bags? Do you think it's just more of an untapped market and something that people should be paying more attention to? Curious to get your rounded take on that.
Yeah, I love betting on the underdog. And I also like bags. I feel like is more centered towards people who want to like build an actual company and like build something that's more focused. You're focused on your product pretty much. So it's not always about like how many tokens you launch on your launch pad and everything. It's about quality, more quality than all the stuff you have. And I feel like bags launchpad has been much more helpful than other ones out there in the market now. They've been helpful. They've been like, reaching out. Finn's been reaching out. The teams are reaching out. Like I needed help with Jupiter Verify. They got that done like instantly. They reached out to Phantom for me. Like they've been very helpful. Than like any other launch pad before because we migrated from one. And they were not the best for help at all. Even though we were a high market cap too. Then and there was no help. But Bags was much more helpful than other launch pads for sure. And so
Got
like
you.
I there's always the hate, people I always like to say if people are not hating on you, you're not doing something right. So if people are hating on you, you gotta be doing something right because, why are they hating on you?
That's valid. It's valid. We already kind of covered roadmap, but maybe we talk about it one more time. You said if you get the self-hosted situation going, revenue can 10x from there. Let's talk growth. Let's talk vision. If people want something to bet on, and you have a vision for this, where could this be in 6 months to a year from now? We see how fast these AI companies scale. Would love to get your
Mhm.
take.
I mean, in 6 months we could be well over a trillion tokens processed. We could be on Hermes level, kilo code level, top engineering. We could even build out our own coding app like Codex app pretty much and heavily focus more on coding CLIs. There's a big bet on these coding CLIs that we're making and getting higher access models too. So also like we want to get Fable and Claude models to people. So we're trying to work out a way to get some of these higher models to people but at a lower cost too.
Well, yeah, and we're also having these conversations about like compute futures. Obviously, the CME futures group came out and talked about how they think it's a big thing, and it's very clear any business needs fixed costs to operate a business, and the fluctuation of these the compute is unsustainable. How are you looking at that? Are you guys looking to maybe step more into a compute futures marketplace and offer something like that, or is that something you guys are
Mhm.
concerned with or thinking about?
I mean, not really concerned with. I'm just like, if you have the compute and then you have extra compute, there's always buyers right now in the market to sell it to. So if we have all this extra compute, then we can find a new path to start selling our servers and renting them out too.
Got you. Also, I saw someone comment. I can't really recall who it was. I think it was Crypto Jones commented. This free compute, the inference you're getting, could you take that and sell that on something like Surplus? I'm sure you've been seeing like Surplus or Squire, UsePod, these marketplaces where you can take compute and sell it for a lot cheaper. Are you seeing
Hmm.
people log on to PO and get some of this free inference and then resell it on other platforms?
Hmm. I mean, if we have a lot of users. We saw a few unlike suspected ones that were kind of weird. We limited them. But if we don't have any like rules against that or anything for reselling.
Got you. I think we covered it all. Is there anything I missed today that you want to highlight or touch on for the people that are, sitting here listening, maybe excited about PO, uh, watching your every move?
So yeah, so you could actually follow me on Instagram. I post like whenever I'm in China and at the meetings and everything all the time. I'm fully doxxed, so I'm Mr. Corey. And you can see the live meetings when it's happening and everything and me buying stuff. I just like took videos last time when I was out there, like yesterday and stuff. And also I have a meeting with Minimax later today. So we possibly have a new model that's coming on for PZ Go for a free model. And also with Step Fund too. We got accepted to the Step Fund startup program, so I'm talking with them.
Are you guys thinking about team expansion, maybe pulling on some more BD work or leg work, or what does that look like?
Yeah, definitely more BDs to get to reach out to more local LLM companies in different areas.
All right. Very cool. Well, it was a pleasure, Corey. I think this is exciting. When can we get you on Twitter is the question.
What do you mean?
From like, do you have a person? You mentioned your Instagram account, but do you have a personal Twitter
Yeah, I
account?
mean, you could follow me, Sir Pepe XPT. That's just the same one I use.
Got you.
Or you
Okay,
could see me on Instagram, at Mr. Corey, and you could see like when I post. Oh, I post on Twitter too, like when I'm all the stuff too. So Twitter or Instagram, whichever one.
okay, got you. I didn't know. Sir Pepe XPT. Ah, yes. Okay, same as your. Okay, I got you. Okay, cool. Well, I would love to see some of those pictures on Twitter and whatnot. But very cool to see. We appreciate you, Corey, coming on.
For
This is a
sure.
really
Thank you.
interesting project. And you know what? One last thing before I let you go here.
Mhm.
How should we gauge these projects? We've had everyone under the sun in crypto that's doing the inference stuff on the show, and it's getting very convoluted. It's getting very hard for me to tell, which ones I guess are the most investable. I think the
Mhm.
easiest way to look is just look at the numbers, who's processing the most
Yeah.
tokens. But in your eyes,
Mhm.
if you had to take all of these people, line them up side by side, how do you choose which tokens, which teams are the most investable in the inference market?
I would say look like how long they've been shipping and how long they've been kept going. Like even when the market was against them, if they kept shipping and they kept going, then that's a team to bet on. We've been cooking since December of 2025. Market conditions down and up. We kept going. 10K market cap, kept cooking new updates. 20K, we kept cooking new updates. Never stopped. And also it's in the volume too. You want to see the users. You want to see how many tokens are processing. You want to see the actual verifiable numbers. Like people say these things all the time, but sometimes you can't verify it. Like you could verify our numbers on Open Router. You could verify our numbers on NPM to see the downloads. So if you're seeing these, activity and you're seeing basically like the user and the teams and they're actually trying, I feel like they're definitely investable.
Love it. So time in the market, users, tokens processed. Those are like the big three.
Yeah.
All right, banger. Corey, appreciate you.
Thank you. See you.
Keep it up. We'll have to get you back on when you get to that
Yeah.
trillion token mark, dude.
For sure. I'll post more updates on Twitter and Instagram.
All right, very good. Peace.
Take care. Peace.
All right, there you have it, guys. What are we thinking? Corey's a G? Yo, I'm not going to lie. These numbers are pretty impressive. Here are my takeaways, boys. 30,000 CLI downloads. 1 billion tokens processed per hour. They're giving away a lot of free inference. And the question is this inference sustainable? He said yes. Okay. And the free inference is nice because it really makes a good top of funnel. People come for the free stuff. They get hooked and they start becoming paying clients. It's the very obvious top of funnel, especially when they're charting on Open Router. Or this is where all the AI people are going to look for this stuff. So if they're number one on Open Router, great top of funnel, get them in. So I think the free inference is great. Ideally, it's sustainable. He said it would be. They mentioned they're doing the self-hosted stuff. China had a ban on crypto miners. We know this. China's been in and out of crypto for years. Ban on crypto miners, so they're being sold very cheap. Also, energy is subsidized in China. Okay, so that's part of their moat. That'll 10x revenue if they start self-hosting this stuff. 60K MRR growth has been pretty good. They were doing like 5 a month prior to this, so it's really exploded. They're thinking about equity ownership. They're thinking about an equity ownership model. I'll get with him after this. He said he was looking into Street. Street's not really going down that route anymore. So, I'll connect him with Bedrock, who's doing pretty much the exact same thing. It's just backed by Meteora, and they got $1 million lawyer fund ready to go and deploy towards that. So Meteora's doing great stuff there. I'll get them connected. They're looking at becoming an AI lab, right? They're looking at enterprise solutions. The real mode is Chinese connections. Otherwise, the models can be replicated. Yeah, the connections are definitely a big one. Seems like he's having a lot of these conversations. Anyone with the name Corey is a Chad. Good on him that he continues to put in work even though the price was down, plus alignment with focus on token equity models. Why do you say everyone with the name Corey is a Chad, Chill? I've never met one Chad named Corey in my life, except for the guy I just talked to. Kidding. Base dev, yeah. P0 can go crazy. Young and some inference. I'm impressed too. Yeah, I'm impressed. The numbers are what you want to hold up on. $300,000 non-dilutive funding in grants. So they got the bread. They got money from the Bags Fund. They're capitalized, seeking funding. Yeah, there's a lot there. I was pretty happy with that interview. So we'll keep monitoring. Again, it's very hard to gauge this stuff. It's convoluted space. There's a lot of competition. Best thing you can do is look at the numbers, and their numbers are really, really good. How does this stack up against something like Dolphin, like Squire, like Surplus? I guess Surplus and Squire maybe aren't the best ones to compare it to, but numbers are good nonetheless. I think he just loves the name Corey. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. So that was a cool interview. I would definitely keep eyes on this. I think, again, largely held back because it was on bags. You cannot argue with that. 100% largely held back because it was on bags. It's getting picked up. The numbers are insane. Shout out Tony, who's been constantly pushing this. But yeah, number 1 on Open Router is insane, boys. It is insane. And here, let me actually make this smaller. There we go. Make it smaller so Chill has it set up and he's ready to go. But yeah, look at this, boys. Number 1, 28 billion tokens in daily processing. That's insane. Yeah. So all around really good. Numbers are good. Funding is good. They're seeking ongoing funding. They have 100% of the equity right now. They're looking to put equity on chain at some capacity. In China, I don't know, boys. I like that one a lot. Is it actually insane to be number 1 Open Router if you can sustain this, as you said, the guy about to get cooked? Yeah, no, it's insane. It's insane, brother. It's insane to be number 1 on Open Router. Yeah. Really cool stuff. Gonna cap it there, guys. I gotta run, like mentioned, but that was a really good stream today. A lot of fun. Been lurking crypto. Chill shows up as soon as Corey interview ends. Something to think about. Crypto Jones did say up in the comments that is Chill. Chill finally doxed. Something to think about. Jeez. Something to think about. But yeah, PO's been around for a while. Thank you, Al. Yeah, it was a good interview. Solid. So good day today, guys. We're gonna get these posts coming out. As always, growth has been great up until the right for MCG. So let's make sure we do one thing, guys. We're gonna follow before we leave. I'll tell you guys what we got on for the rest of the week here on the schedule, because Friday is a banger. Okay. First things first. Need you guys to do this. Getting a call. Gonna have to get back to that in a second. All right. Go to MCG. We're looking good. Branding's looking clean. We got motion. We're gaining 100 followers a day. Back on the grind. We had a great stream today. Going to get this all clipped up. Of course, you've already liked and retweeted 7 of you guys. Bless. Let's see. Tomorrow we got a really cool one. Okay, so Friday we have Flood Capital coming on. Josh is a big Galaxy fan. Galaxy's doing really, really cool stuff. I gotta say, I've been Galaxy pilled from Josh. Flood Capital is like one of the biggest Galaxy bulls. 11:30 they're coming on. They're talking Galaxy. They're talking. It looks like they're talking robo strategy. So that'll be really, really interesting. Okay, so definitely lock in there. Throw that a like. After that, long day tomorrow, boys. Long day tomorrow. So that's 11:30 a.m. EST. Yep, we're starting the AMs now. Highlights. Let's see. And then for the rest of the week, we got stream schedule. Boom. After that, we have Star. Adam's coming on. We saw Star has pumped off this recent announcement. They're cooking. Adam continues to iterate. Shout out to Adam. This is a founder that created a launchpad. He's trying to do something novel and cool. He's got equities. He's got Futarki, right? They're really trying to innovate. So I like Adam. I'm an Adam fan. Okay. They're coming on tomorrow at 12:30, talking about their new internet rounds and their launches there. Maybe get some insights. And then following that is Dragnet, which I forget about, but it should be exciting. So good stuff. Next week is going to be an absolute banger. Yeah, bro. He never quit. He never quit. Underdog story. And he dropped a sick video too to hint at it. Is this a recorded stream? Yes, sir. It'll be recorded and fully upload shortly after this. Our content team is A1. They'll get this out probably within the next hour of getting off live. We'll get the full segments out and clipped up for you guys. So is VoiceBox coming up? Yo, enjoy your 6-7. Tag them on that. They were supposed to. We have a conversation going with them. We got this conversation going right before he got hacked and lost a bunch of money. They are a little low for our liking, but I think based on what happened, we'd be happy to get them on. So I'm still pinging them. We're closing off schedule like Friday. We try to have it finalized. So ping him on this. But yeah, we have a chat with them. So hopefully they come on. Next week should be a banger, boys. Send me a pack, Dom, for all the hard work. Yeah. Okay, guys. If you want a pack, when we drop the upshot video, we'll have 3 or 4 packs left to give away. I think 4. Crypto Jones, if you comment, I'll get you one. The other ones will be random. So comment on the upshot video. Guys, as always, it's been a pleasure. Tap in tomorrow. We're doing good stuff. Crypto Jones, I'll get you the Bags app video as our outro next time. Until then, until tomorrow, peace, peace.